Our next broadcast premiered in 1935. The program struggled in the ratings until 1940 when it became a national sensation. Within 3 years, it was the top-rated program in America. Few radio shows were more beloved, and few play as well half a century later. It was the brainchild of real-life married couple Jim and Marion Jordan and was broadcast to the nation from WMAQ Chicago. The show entertained America until March of 1956 and continued on NBC's Monitor until 1959. We invite you to join us at 79 Wistful Vista with Fibber McGee and Molly right here on HOJO Radio.
Makers of Johnson's Wax bring you more musical moments of unmitigated merriment with Rico Marcelli's orchestra, Ronald Mansfield, Charlie Wilson, the Johnson Merrymen, and Marion and Jim as those gay and garrulous gadders, those gasoline gondoliers, Fibber McGee and Molly. Marcelli and his men leave their broadcasting for forecasting, and they find it's going to get hotter with shifting wood winds and a rain of rhythm in The Weatherman. Wrap it up, Rico. In the midst of this sparkling music, let me remind you that now is the time to wax your car. Your family, your friends will be proud to ride with you when your car sparkles and gleams with a Johnson Wax polish. Ask your dealer for Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner. You'll receive a can of fine quality black touch-up enamel absolutely free when you make your purchase. Don't delay another day. Wax your car the Johnson way.
Where the man once the skies were blue, now he stays cold and gray. Won't you push the clouds away? I can't endure the temperature. Where the man I depend on you. In my heart there's a chill where there used to be a thrill. I need my gal, you weatherman. Blow and we're growing, I can't shiver. My thoughts are going down to the river. Do something for me. You know my share of the weather is long overdue. Weatherman, see what you can do. Take the sun, make the time, find my gal and make her mine, or change your plans. You know you can, you weatherman.
Remember what the poet sang? A loaf of bread, a jug of wine, and thou? Well, that's Fibber McGee and Molly. Two loafers, bread, a chug of the motor, and thousands of miles behind them. They come in sight of a new real estate development.
Look, McGee, it's a carnival. Let's stop.
Oh, shucks, Molly. We ain't got time to go messing around those dread carnivals. Besides, it ain't a carnival.
Well, then what is it? Look at the people and the flags and all.
I don't know. What's the flag say on them?
Well, slow down so I can read them, ignorant.
Okay. What's the sign say, Molly? I can't read them and drive, too.
Oh, must be a new subdivision, McGee. It says Wistful Vista Home Site. $1 down. Buy a lot for a little.
Lot of what?
Build a home for the land state.
Fooey from me to them.
The realest real estate you ever bought.
Oh, shucks, we don't want to stop and listen to a lot of high-pressure salesmanship.
Look, McGee, that sign.
Where?
Barbecue sandwiches and coffee free.
Gotta get them brakes stick.
You needn't have stopped so sudden. You near broke me neck.
I know. I just happened to think. Every American citizen ought to be interested in the home building, Molly. It's the backbone of our civil...
Go on with you, McGee. It's your wishbone you're talking about. You're wishing for a free sandwich.
Oh, shucks, Molly.
Hello.
There's one hello too many, mister. There's only two of us.
So I see. Yes, so I see. Two is the very type of citizen we want to see settle down on a little nest on this beautiful development, folks. Here's where you'll get a lot for a little. A home for half and contentment on every dotted line. Yes, sir, folks.
What is this place now?
This place, madam? Why, this is none other than that beautiful landscape, Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista subdivision. Wired for light, piped for gas, paved for pavements, ditched for sewers, and for only the small sum of...
Well, where do you get them free sandwiches, brother?
And coffee.
Right over there, sir, at the barbecue pit. But before you avail yourself of Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista hospitality, let me give you a short summary of our proposition here. We have probably the finest, the most economical...
Come on, Molly, get out. I don't know why we can't get a mouthful and an earful at the same time. Where'd you say this here free barbecue pit was, brother?
Well, I must inform you that that word free is conditional.
And what do you mean conditional? Free is free.
Oh, yes, indeed. Free without the slightest reservations to those who hold tickets for the grand drawing.
Grand what?
What you mean, tickets for the grand drawing?
Do you mean to say that you've come within 10,000 miles of Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista without learning from every man, woman, and child the sensational details of our sales stimulant?
Oh, sure.
Why, sir and madam, here is opportunity itself knocking, nay, thundering at your door.
That's all I want is opportunity to sink my teeth into a
Why,
barbecue...
for the paltry sum of only $2, sir. You buy a ticket which may bring you shelter in your declining days, a haven from the storms of the future, the dream of every solid citizen of this great commonwealth.
Oh, you mean you're selling chances onto a house?
A house?
A house?
Did you say a house, madam?
Certainly I said...
This is the house. A house of your dreams, madam. A cove of contentment. The realization of a lifetime's yearning. The answer to a woman's prayer. Look there.
Where?
Where?
There.
Oh.
Direct your gaze at that fine covered cottage. That marvelous modern example of the architect's art. The home of your heart's desire. Right over there.
Oh, the house. Oh. Well, it is real pretty, isn't it, McGee?
Oh, it's okay. Now, where did you say this here barbecue...
Oh, McGee. You gotta have a ticket, the man says. It's only $2, and you have a chance to win that house a lot, too. Am I right, mister?
The miserable truth. For the miserable sum of $2.
What in Tucket's so miserable about $2, brother? That'll buy 20 sandwiches. And let me tell you, brother, a hamburger in the hand is worth a house in the hat any day. Come on, Molly, we better get back
Wait
to
now,
our...
McGee, wait. Buy me a ticket.
Buy you a... What was that, Molly?
You heard me, McGee. Buy me a ticket.
Well, you mean you spend $2?
McGee, I'm starved.
Say, brother, how many sandwiches are you entitled to when you got a ticket?
Oh, there's no limit, sir. It's merely a gesture of hospitality on the part of the Hagelmeyer Wistful Vista Development Company. We feel that a well-fed customer is a better prospect.
You mean you can eat as much as you want?
Yes.
Give me a ticket.
There you are, sir. And as a friend to friend, I may say that you've never made a more intelligent purchase. It is...
You mean as one real estate man to another, brother?
Oh, now, McGee, give the man his $2 and let's be eating.
Here's your $2, brother. As I was saying, I used to dabble mites in real estate myself. Tropical real estate.
Oh, really?
No, O'Reilly and McGee, the part payment promoters of Panama. Used to sell banana plantations mostly. Some pineapple farms and rubber timber, but mostly bananas. Still, you should ought to seen the work we done on the pineapple plantations.
But if you'll excuse me...
You ain't prying into my business a bit, brother. Always glad to share my experience with another real estate man. As I was saying, you should have seen the O'Reilly and McGee part payment promotion of pineapple plantation.
Oh, now, McGee, the man
Wants to hear about how I done her. I know. You see, brother, I was probably the leading banana land promoter in Panama at the time.
Banana oil, McGee.
Banana oil. No, banana land. I had me the biggest plantation of bananas onto the island of Pago Pago.
Is that so?
Why, even the hurricane of 1908 never fazed me.
Well,
Even though the lightning bust every banana tree I owned right down the middle of the trunk.
lightning struck every banana tree?
Right down the middle. But it never discouraged me none. I just took one look at them trees, ordered a herd of Jersey cows shipped in, and set up an ice cream plant.
What for?
Banana splits for the export trade. Come on, Mom.
That was Martelli and his men confessing to a starlight superstition, I wished on the moon. And I might say right here that if you ever wished on the moon, or just wished that your car could keep that brilliant factory finish, Johnston's Auto Wax will keep it
Yes,
that
sir,
way.
Harpo. I always says that a
Now,
kid...
just a minute, Fibber. My name is Harlow, once and for all.
Oh, that's once for you, and for all of me, it's still Harpo. I ever tell you about the time I had me the bee farm down in Turkey Run, Indiana?
Oh, an apiary.
I says bees, not monkeys. Well, sir, one day in 1906, or no, 07 it was.
I'm sorry, Fibber, but my time is
I
pretty
know.
well
Your
taken.
time is my time. As I was saying, I drove into my bee farm one day and started giving the car a Johnson wax. And I happened to lay the can of wax down by one of my hives.
Oh, you had the hive.
No, my bees had the hive.
Oh.
I had the bees. But I lays me the can of Johnson's wax down by one of the hives, and all of a sudden I see Hortense. Hortense, she was a queen bee from the Hamp's Mother honey farm next door. I see Hortense looking down into that can of wax, real curious. Then she give a kind of an angry buzz and flew away home. The next thing I knew, there she was back again with the whole swarm of bees from the Hamp's Mother honey farm.
Ah, she went and got her gang.
Yep. And when the buzzing had died down a mite, I could hear her say to them other bees, she says, sitting on the edge of the can of Johnson's Auto Wax, she says, "Listen, you mugs," she buzzes, "get a load of the work that's being done over here. Look at that wax. That there is wax as is wax. Now go on home and see what you can do.
Oh,
McGee, now, would you let Mr. Wilcox get on with his work?
Okay. I was just giving Harpo here a nature lesson, but he ain't got the intelligence to grasp my stuff.
Well, we don't know about these, but here's a tip that's honey. Now is the time to wax your car. Don't drive around another day in a dirty, dull, faded-looking car. It gives everybody a very poor impression of you. And it's so easy to take away all that unattractive, dirty film and give your car a gleaming polish that shines like new. It's easy, that is, if you use Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner. These two products are regular miracle workers. They transform your car right before your eyes. With Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner, the work is done in about half the usual time. You'll be proud of your car when you see all the sparkle come back to the finish. It will look like it did when you first drove it out of the showroom. So go to your dealer at once and ask for Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner. Let me assure you that Johnson's Auto Cleaner contains no harsh abrasives. It does a miraculous cleaning job, and it positively does not harm the finish. Insist on Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner and save the finish on your car. And now, the show stands still for Ronnie Mansfield, our handsome Irish tenor, who stands pat at the mic to sing, And Then My Heart Stood Still.
I took one look at you, that's all I meant to do, and then my heart stood still. My feet could step and walk, my lips could move and talk, and yet my heart stood still. Though not a single word was spoken, I could tell you knew that unfelt clasp of hands told me so well you knew. I never lived at all until the thrill of that moment when my heart stood still. Not a single word was spoken, I could tell you knew that unfelt clasp of hands told me so well you knew. I never lived at all until the thrill of that moment when my heart stood still.
Now, back to the Wistful Vista Real Estate Development, amid the banners and bunting, barbecues and bologna, where Fibber and Molly are getting their $2 worth of sandwiches and coffee at the expense of Mr. Hagelmeyer.
Well, McGee, if you're able to walk, let's be going.
Oh, shucks, Molly, you might let a fella finish his sandwich.
His sandwich? Yep. Go on with you, McGee. You've ate so much beef, I'll have to ride herd on you for the next 2 weeks.
Shucks, you done all right yourself, Molly.
I know. I ate my dollar's worth in piccaninny alone. Tear up your ticket and let's go.
Hey, now, wait a minute, Molly. Shucks, I paid $2 for that ticket.
That's a net $4 worth of sandwiches and coffee. You don't think you'll win a house and lots, do you?
Well, you never know, Molly.
Look at the number on that ticket, McGee.
Where?
Right on the corner there. Read it.
131,313. Well, what about it?
What about it? And do you think you'll win on number 131313? Here's 3 strikes on you, McGee.
Shucks, that don't mean nothing, Molly. Add it up. 1 and 3 is 4, and 4 is 8, and 4 is 12. 12 is a lucky number, according to numberology. Even dozen.
Sure. An even dozen that doesn't mean anything. Oh, it is a nice little house. But you got no more chance of winning it than making a fortune on spaghetti in Ethiopia.
Oh, well, you'll have to admit...
There, my friend.
Oh, dear.
I hope you've enjoyed the hospitality of Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista.
Oh, sure, they was real nice barbecues, mister. But we gotta be on our way now.
Oh, no, madam. You cannot afford to pass up the homemaking opportunity of a lifetime. Why, when you consider what Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista offers you in the way...
You got any soda tablets on you, bud?
Why, no, sir, I'm afraid not. Are you ill?
This is barbecued beef stampeding, mister. Come on, McGee.
Okay, glad to have met you, brother.
Oh, but wait. You haven't heard the real true story. The romance behind the founding of Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista. We are building a community, sir. We are interested in laying the very cornerstones of civic development. We want to see homes and more homes with healthy, happy citizens. Little kiddies going to school. Smoke from 100 contented chimneys, even at a sacrifice.
Sacrifice?
Ah, yes. What is a monetary loss?
Well, when you can sell 131,313 tickets for $2 apiece, making $262,626 for a house that couldn't have cost more than $4,000 to put up. Ha! Answer me that, Mr. Sacrifice.
Well, I'm afraid, madam, that... Oh, here is Mr. Hagelmeyer himself. Mr. Hagelmeyer, these good people appear a bit skeptical of the sincerity of our Wistful Vista. I want you to meet Mr. Hagelmeyer, folks. Mr. Hagelmeyer, this is Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs.
McGee.
What?
Nothing. I was just telling Mr. Hagelsnuffer the name.
Hagelmeyer, madam. Mr. Hagelmeyer will tell you all the advantages and opportunities embraced in the purchase and ownership of a little home in Hagelmeyer's Wistful Vista. And the drawing of the lucky number will be held in just a few moments now. Mr. Hagelmeyer will be more than...
My, Mr. Hageltooper. Do all these people pay $2 for a few barbecues and coffee and ballyhooey?
Do you mean to say that is to remark... never let it be said... Well, Herman Hagelmeyer... well, what do you think?
You know what I think, Haggy? I think that this here is a big dip. I think what we ought to do is get...
What? You mean to say there and stand... to stand there and accuse... whoever... but did you ever stop to think that a man's best friend is... Well, what is mother without a home? What is home without a bar? A sink? Some place where a man... you get the idea? just 2 little birds in a gilded cage. Think of it, my friend. A little cottage with a big cheese. Cottage cheese. No. 1,000,000 times no. Or shall we say maybe?
McGee, what is this man talking about?
Sounds like you got the needle in the wrong groove, Molly.
Oh, what a beautiful thought. Just give a little thought, but think of the twilight. A little home in the sticks, or rhubarb, or suburbs, covered with mortgages, or ivy, poison ivy, or no, that was, and a cheerful fire, no insurance. A fire in the fireplace, a kettle singing on the stove, or home on the range, and a little wire-haired wife, a beautiful young pup, and the kitties. 2 charming little golden-haired brats. What a beautiful picture. Who says that Hagelmeyer builds bum bungalows, frame house, or stucco? I'll stick on my friends.
Am I hearing right, Molly, or maybe I ate one sandwich too many?
Oh, look, McGee, the crowd's going over there for the raffle. Come on, let's see who won.
Okay, Molly. Probably be the cousin of Hagelmeyer here.
Sir, you are either on Jack or injecting. Well, look. Think of owning a title free. A little love note, or fig note, or love nest, and remember that old limerick, or poem? Let me live in the road by the side of... let me carouse by the side of... Under the village oak smith, the blackface skip it. All I can say is that when you build with Hagelmeyer, you'll always regret it'll never be, you can depend on why there's not the slightest foundation.
That's just what I thought. Come on, McGee, they're drawing numbers. We'll see you later, Mr. Higginpotter.
Certainly not. Yes, indeed. You can never depend on Hagelmeyer. You can always get what you want. Find out what
That there feller builds houses like he talks. You could park your car in the attic and shingle the cellar.
Oh, be quiet, McGee. They're making an announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, the grand drawing is about to take place. Have your tickets ready. The lucky winner will receive, absolutely without cost or expense of any kind, free and clear title to the beautiful little home you see to my right. To those who do not win, we offer special bargains in home sites, homes designed and built on the beautiful Hagelmeyer Wistful Vista. Just a minute now, while the charming Miss Susie Gloss, who was elected Miss Wistful Vista of 1935, draws the lucky number.
Oh, dear. They're not holding on to ticket number 131313.
Quiet, Molly. I want to see if old Hagelmeyer wins it himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, your kind attention, please. The lucky number has been drawn. The number that wins this beautiful example of the home builder's genius is none other than 1028. 1028. Will the lucky winner please step right up to the platform here?
Well, McGee, at least we had our barbecues and coffee.
No, shucks, the roof probably leaks anyway. What's the thing?
Tear up the ticket, McGee. 113 is bad enough, but 3...
Attention, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, wait a minute, Molly. Maybe we got pie coming.
Correction here. A correction, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1028 was not eligible for the prize as it had been turned in and the money refunded. Another number has been drawn. It is number 131,313.
McGee! McGee, did you hear? It's our number, McGee. It's our number. McGee, what's the matter with you?
Shucks, Molly.
McGee! Oh, here's somebody. He's fainting.
Silver lining, you're my sky of blue. There's a love light shining just because of you. Oh, see, I think, baby, you've got that certain thing, baby. Shining star and inspiration worthy of a mighty nation. Oh, see, I sing.
A few moments ago, I told you how easy it is to make your car sparkle like new again with Johnson's Auto Cleaner. Now it's very important to protect that gleaming finish so it will stay shining. And it's very important that you use Johnson's Auto Wax in order to give your car the surest protection against sun, rain, and road film. With a gleaming coat of Johnson's Wax on your car, whether new or old, it will resist dust and dirt. Car washings will be cut down after your car is Johnson Wax. The polish wears like iron, keeps your car in such beautiful condition that you will get much more money for it at the time of resale. So go to your dealer right away. Order Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner at the special price of 98 cents for the two. Your dealer will give you a can of fine quality black touch-up enamel free with your purchase. If you prefer, your garage or service station will wax your car for you. But don't delay another day. Wax your car the Johnson way. until next Monday night at this same hour on NBC. Remember, NBC. And be sure to specify the genuine Johnson's Auto Wax and Cleaner, NB Safe. Oh, and NB. This is Harlow Wilcox speaking. Good night. The selection I Wished on the Moon is from the big broadcast of 1936 of The I Sing from the show of the same name. This program came to you from our Chicago studio. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. More classic old-time radio coming your way next.
Good evening, everyone. The makers of Johnson's Wax present Marion and Jim as Fibber McGee and Molly, with Rico Marcelli's orchestra opening the show with Goody Goody. Wrap it up, Rico. Before we join the McGees tonight, let me tell you how you can get a pair of Fibber and Molly spinning tops free. The children have gone wild over these clever little tops. On one is a picture of Fibber, on the other a picture of Molly. You start these bright little tops spinning just by a twist of the fingers, and they keep going as long as a minute and a half. The children, and grown-ups too, are using them at parties. It's fun to start both tops spinning at the same time and see which will win, Fibber or Molly. Now here's the way to get these two Fibber and Molly tops free. Buy a can of Johnson's Wax, paste or liquid. Lay a thin piece of paper over the face of the can and trace the letters Johnson's Wax. Send your tracing to Johnson's Wax, Racine, Wisconsin, and you'll receive two of these clever spinning tops free. Use a pencil if you like. You don't have to do a fancy job, but no tops can be sent unless your tracing is made from an actual can of Johnson's Wax. Mail it to Johnson's Wax, Racine, Wisconsin. You'll get these two clever little tops free of charge. This offer expires May 30th. Well, here we are again, on the corner of 14th and Oak Streets, Wistful Vista. And right over there, waiting for the one-man streetcar, are Fibber McGee and Molly.
McGee, how often do these streetcars run?
Well, I don't know, Molly. I was always taught that when I seen rabbit tracks, there must be a rabbit, but seeing car tracks don't mean nothing.
Well, why don't we ask somebody? Yoo-hoo, mister.
Hello, what's the matter?
You know when the next car will come along, Bud?
Well, Say, is that a knitting bag you have there?
Yes, it is.
What are you knitting?
A three-piece suit.
How nice. Well, go ahead, dearie. You've got plenty of time.
Nice town we moved into, Molly. They ought to plant flowers along the side of the car line here. Century plant.
Oh, because the flowers take so long blooming?
No, because the cars take so blooming long. Ain't funny, McGee.
Well, maybe we better walk, McGee.
Oh, no. No, you don't. Walk clear out to the edge of town? No, sir, not me.
Well, that's what we're going out there for, so as we can take a little walk in the country.
I know, but Chucks, we don't want to get all tired out before we start walking. If we walk to where we was going to walk, the walk that we walked to get to the walk would spoil the walk. You never saw a jockey ride his horse from his home to the racetrack, did you?
Don't be silly, McGee. All the exercise you get is from the Davenport to the dining room table.
And back again. Don't forget that, Molly. Did you see the piece in the paper there this morning where somebody threatened the life of that British diplomat, Anthony Eden?
No.
Yep, they got 3 plainclothes men guarding him now.
Well, they better know their apples.
Why?
Well, you gotta know your apples in the Garden of Eden.
They say he's on his way over to Switzerland to attend the conference of the League of Nations.
I suppose they hold the League meeting in Switzerland because it's got a lot of mountains to make molehills out of. But at least they're trying to keep peace in the world.
Yeah, they're not only keeping their own peace, but they're all trying to cut themselves another one. In Italy, it's the black shirts. In Germany, the brown shirts. In Ethiopia, it's the night shirts.
And in this country, it's the stuffed shirt.
No, Molly. We lost our shirts in 1929.
Well, say, I wonder if the League of Nations is keeping the streetcars out of Wistful Vista.
Here it comes now, Molly.
Oh, yeah.
Now, get our 14 cents ready now.
Oh, McGee.
Huh?
I haven't got me purse. You'll have to pay it.
Fool me. Shucks, I ain't got any money with me, Molly. I thought you had it.
Oh, now what'll we do?
Leave it to me, Molly. I'll just tell the motorman who I am.
Oh, yeah? Well, that'll be fine. I'll run along beside the car and catch you when you're thrown out.
Don't be like that. Stand back. Here she comes now.
All aboard. 14th streetcar. Board.
Oh, Henry! Oh, Henry!
Hey, hold the car, motorman. Here comes another passenger.
Oh, Henry!
Oh, that's only my wife. What's the matter, Katie?
The sweepstakes, Henry, the sweepstakes. We won.
What?
We won $50,000, Henry. Oh, I'm so excited.
What? 50 grand. I'll be home as soon as I finish the run, Katie.
Never mind the run. Leave the old streetcar here. You're a gentleman now.
Okay, baby, let's go. So long, folks.
Hey, wait.
Well, can you imagine that, Molly?
We wait 2 hours for a streetcar. When it gets here, the motorman quits. Now what'll we do?
Well, shucks, Hey, listen, folks. Hey. How many of you want me to run this streetcar? Okay, I'll do it. Come on, Molly, give me the handle.
Oh,
okay, folks, Fibber McGee is at the throttle.
Oh, McGee, what do you know about running a streetcar?
Why, it's easy, Molly. All you got to do is remember not to have enough change, keep the car as dirty as possible, and never stop for folks if it's raining. All aboard! Step on there. Hey.
Again, Fibber and Molly have taken over the Wistful Vista streetcar because the motorman quit when he won $50,000 in the sweepstakes. It's a one-man car, but Fibber seems to be having his hands full, even with Molly's help.
Okay, folks, back in the car. There's plenty of room in the rear of the car, folks.
You know, McGee, you run this streetcar pretty good for an amateur.
Huh. What you mean, amateur? Don't let that gong fool you. I run one of these for years down in Mobile, Molly. Motorman McGee, they called me in them days.
Oh.
Motorman McGee, the mental marvel of the modern motor movement and mastermind of Maestro the Macadam. How many fares did that fella have rung up, Molly?
13.
How many folks on board?
27.
I was afraid of that. Did you notice the knuckles on that motorman that quit, Molly? All scarred up.
From what?
Knocking down nickels. Hey, they ought to train octopuses for this job.
McGee, the plural for octopus is octocat.
Anyway, this here's no job for a fellow with just one pair of arms. You got to open and shut the door, make change, give transfers, ring the bell, call streets, and answer questions, and start and stop and put sand on the track.
Oh, that reminds me, McGee.
Huh?
We need some more sand. You better stop and get some.
Okay, but where?
Well, stop in front of the Wistful Vista cafeteria. I'll ask them to take the spinach for it.
Okay.
Oh, stop the car, McGee. There's a lady ahead waving to us.
Oh, look out there. Hey, watch your steps there, Sid. Hey, don't you know no better than to get on when the car's moving?
Oh, don't be so fussy, young man. I know what I'm doing. I always get on that way.
Sometimes they don't even slow down for me. I have to run along behind and pull the trolley off. That stops them every time.
Oh, okay, sis. 7 cents, please.
You haven't got change for a 20, have you, young man?
20? We haven't got change for 20, have we, Molly?
You haven't got change, period.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Sit down, and maybe we'll have some change later.
Well, I'll sit down all right, but you'll never have change for a 20 on this streetcar line, Sonny.
Oh.
I've been riding on this same $20 bill for 15 years. Say, move your foot over so as I can kick the gong.
Huh?
I say, let me ding the dinger. All the other boys let me ding it like this. Not bad, eh, Sonny? Mighty obliged.
Speaking of that old blister, Molly, she flips onto a moving streetcar like she was a high school gal, and then she wants to ring the gong.
Yes. Well, it's your own fault, McGee. You would work on a streetcar.
Woodwork on a streetcar or woodwork in the home, Johnson's Wax will give it a lustrous, easy-to-clean finish.
Oh, hello there, Harpo.
Heavenly days, Mr. Wilcox. I didn't see you sitting over there.
Well, I didn't see you either, but I heard your voices. You know, this is the longest tunnel I ever went through on a streetcar.
Tunnel? We ain't going through no tunnel.
Why, it's you, Mr. Wilcox. You got your hat pulled over your eyes.
What? What? Well, so I have. Well, thanks.
29th Street. 29th Street.
All aboard, folks. All aboard. Watch your step, mister.
Thank you, my little tiger lily. Thank you.
7 cents, please, mister.
7 cents. Ah, yes, 7 cents. 7 cents is the regular fare, I take it.
The regular fare, all right, Bud, but we're the ones that take it.
Yes, very good, my little chipmunk. Very good. But I must tell you that I don't pay fares on streetcars, my friends, being a member of the police force. Yes, I'm on the police force, and what's more, the police force is on to me, I'm afraid. Yes.
Now, let's see your star.
Oh, yes, my star. Now, what did I do with my star? Oh, yes, I wear it on my vest. But during this warm weather, I don't wear a vest. Simple, isn't it? No vest, no star.
Mm-hmm. No star, no ride.
Why, sure. How do we know you're a police?
Sure.
How indeed? You may well ask, my little silkworm. The fact is, I'm a plain clothes man. Did you ever see any plainer clothes than these? No, you never did. Now, let me see your fingers, Mortimer.
My fingers? Here.
Uh-huh, just as I thought. Covered with fingerprints, yeah. Well, I'll let you go this time, but don't let it happen again. And as for you, my little gadabout, you remind me of a beautiful Irish ballad. Yes, indeed, a beautiful Irish ballad.
Heavenly days. How's that?
You've heard of the Rose of Tralee? Yes. Well, don't mind me, my little cowslips. I'll just stand back here and keep an eye on things, including that gentleman's newspaper. Move over, my friend.
McGee. So far, we have 3 passes, 2 transfers, one mailman, and a cop. Business is picking up.
Trouble is, they don't pay after they're picked up.
Yeah.
All aboard. Watch your step, folks. All aboard. All aboard.
Fare, please.
Hurry up, sis. 7 cents.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I left my money at home.
Oh, where do you live, babe?
Well, McGee, maybe she'll send the company 7 cents later.
Oh, I will. Oh, I promise.
What's that you got there, a violin case?
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, well, open it up and fiddle for your fare.
Okay.
Folks, this is Audrey Call, Marcelli's little solo violinist. She has with her her own arrangement of the old rocking chair. Stop the car, Fibber. Start rocking, Audrey.
we got on this streetcar, McGee.
Why, Molly?
Well, while the little girl was playing the violin, I passed the hat for her, seeing that she didn't have any money with her.
How much did you get, Molly?
Nothing. And somebody got the band off of your hat. Oh, hello there, Sylvie.
Oh, hi there, Sil. I didn't know you was on board.
Hi, ma'am. How are you, boss?
Yeah.
Did you pay your 7 cents, Silly?
Oh, no, ma'am. I don't ever pay no fare. I clean out the car at the end of the line, please, ma'am.
I wonder who does pay to ride on this thing.
I gotta go see about a job.
A job?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Silly, you're as bad as McGee.
Am I, ma'am? Really?
Oh, what you mean as bad as me?
Well, you get a new job every week and can't hang on to them.
Yes, me too, ma'am.
Yeah. Trouble with you is you don't dress right, Sil. You don't pay enough attention to your appearance.
Why?
I says you ain't neat enough for business.
No, sir, but I ain't never been in no neat business yet.
Them pants is a little big for you, aren't they, Silly?
Yes, ma'am, I'm afraid so. These is throw-me-downs, ma'am.
Oh, you mean hand-me-down, Silly.
No, ma'am, I mean throw-me-down. They was my brother's pants, ma'am. I had to throw him down 4 times to get him off. Well, here's where I get off, ma'am. So long, boss.
So long. Johnson Street. Let him out, please. All aboard. All up. Careful there, sis.
Oh, I can get on all alone, I bet you.
Where are you going to, sis?
First streetcar ride.
Where's your 7 cents?
Maybe she isn't old enough, McGee.
Oh, how old are you, sis?
You can't guess, I bet you.
I don't want to guess. I want to know. How old are you?
How old are you?
What's that got to do with it?
With what?
With... Damn it, who's asking the questions here, you or me?
Both of us, I bet you.
Oh, come on now, sis. How old are you?
5.
5 going on 6?
No, 5 going on 6 side.
Well, if the collections keep up this way, McGee, it's going to be tough on the surface line.
What line?
Surface.
Here's a good surface line. Johnson's Wax saves the surface of floors, furniture, and woodwork.
Who's getting on, Molly?
A Chinese fellow with some packages, McGee. Watch your step, please. All right, McGee, go ahead.
Go.
Appreciate very much, please. You let me off on Liver Street.
Liver Street? We ain't got no Liver Street in this town, John.
No, say liver. Say Liver Street.
Oh, he means River Street, McGee.
Oh.
Yes, Liver Street. You very stupid.
Oh, yeah? Say, listen, John, if I had...
Oh, McGee, smell what he's got in the package.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, mister? Chop suey?
No, chow mein.
Chow mein, eh? Say, what is chow mein anyway, John? What's it made of?
All the same electricity.
What do you mean it's the same as electricity?
Nobody knows what electricity is, John. We know what it does, but we don't know what it is.
Yes, all the same chow mein. Savvy what do, no savvy what is.
Say, maybe on the next trip you can bring us something to eat.
Chow mein, missy?
No, chop suey. What do you want, McGee?
I'll take an order of egg foo young.
Here, Liver Street. Here come Liver Street.
Now, don't forget to bring that order over.
Okay, chop suey lady, foo young you.
What? Oh, look, McGee, we're going within a block of our own house.
Huh? Block of our own house?
Sure.
I never knew there was streetcar tracks so close to us.
McGee, there ain't.
Huh? They ain't what?
They ain't any tracks. We're running on the concrete and going downhill. Shut it off, McGee. Put on the brakes. Oh, dear.
Won't work, Molly. We're going too
Oh,
fast.
dear, heavenly days.
What's the matter here? What's the matter? Where are we?
We're off the track, Mr. Wilcox. Oh, heavenly days, we're going to wreck it. Steer it, McGee, steer it.
What do you mean, steer it? You can't steer a streetcar.
Oh,
Hang on, everybody. We're going off the road.
hang on, hang on.
Hang on. Molly. Molly, are you okay, Molly?
Oh, yes, I'm all right. How about everybody else? Is anybody hurt?
Me no hurt. Me got off Liver Street.
Somebody's going to get sore at us plowing through that fence that way, Molly.
We'll have to sue us, I'm afraid, McGee.
Huh? We'll have to sue who?
Us. Look around, Diggerness. We crashed into our own backyard. Come on in, folks, and have a cup of coffee.
I'd like to tell you that you can cut your cleaning work just about in half by polishing your furniture, floors, and woodwork with Johnson's wax. The wax goes deep down into the pores and cracks, sealing them so tightly that dirt can't penetrate. Actually, only half as much dust clings to a Johnson waxed surface as to an unwaxed surface. Now, if you have new furniture or new floors, you should protect them now with Johnson's wax so they won't get worn and shabby looking as time goes on. If your floors and furniture are not new, Johnson's wax will soon bring back much of their lost beauty by removing all the dull film and giving them a lustrous polish. Once your floors are Johnson waxed, old-fashioned scrubbing methods can be abolished forever. Ask your dealer for genuine Johnson's wax in the attractive yellow can. And remember, you save as much as 1/3 by ordering the larger sizes. Just as the best housekeepers use Johnson's wax, Johnson's glow coat, and Johnson's furniture polish to keep their houses clean and shining, so the most particular car owners keep their cars sparkling with Johnson's auto wax and cleaner.
McGee, I'm afraid I don't like streetcar work.
No?
All you get is kicks.
Yeah, kicks. I know. That's why streetcar men do what they do at the end of their run, Molly.
What's that?
Just turn their seats the other way and go home.
McGee. Good night. Good night, all.
Our next broadcast is a science fiction drama series that was broadcast from April 24th, 1955 to January 9th, 1958 in various time slots on NBC. Known for its high production values and adapting stories from the leading American authors of the era, it has been described as one of the finest offerings of American radio drama and one of the best science fiction series in any form and medium. We present to you X-1 on HOJO Radio.
Countdown for a blast-off. X-5, -4, -3, -2, X-1. Fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X-1. if you wanted to take over our world with a minimum amount of resistance and trouble, how would you go about it? Tonight we'll tell you how, with a strange and chilling story by George Lefferts. The Parade.
You are Mr. Sid Ryan.
The same.
My name is Luchar. I am a Martian.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. What was that again?
A Martian.
As in Orson Welles?
Precisely.
I'm a Rotarian myself. Sit down.
Thank you.
Now that we've had our little joke, Mr. Luchar, what can Publicity Associates do for you?
I am interested in obtaining publicity. It has been my observation that advertising and publicity are the very backbone of earthly civilization.
Spoken like a true Martian, Mr. Luchar. Now, if you'll tell me the name of the client.
The client, of course, will be the Martians.
You don't give up, do you?
Give up?
The gag, I mean. Oliver.
Yes, Mr. Ryan?
This is Mr. Luchar.
Oh, how do you
Mr. Luchar claims to be a Martian. Take him outside, will you, Oliver?
I am happy to see, Mr. Ryan, that my telling you I am a Martian has approximately the effect I guessed it would. I believe we can do business. I have here cash retainer of $5,000.
Oliver, take a look at that wad of lettuce.
It's the real stuff, Mr. Ryan.
And my client is prepared to spend many times that amount.
Sit down, Mr. Luchar. Oliver, get the client a cigar, the 50-cent box.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, now, what can I do for you, sir?
I wish you to manage a publicity campaign. A very large and important campaign.
Is the product established, or is it something brand new?
Something quite new. Now, what would you judge the most effective type of campaign?
Well, if the client has a lot of dough to throw around, a suspense campaign is best. First, you place ads in the paper saying, "Watch this space." Then about a week later, you run an ad saying XYZ or PDQ, and you get people guessing what it means. Then finally, when you've teased them enough, you bust loose and unveil the product.
Excellent. We will conduct a suspense campaign.
Of course, in this kind of campaign, secrecy is very important. Once the name of the product leaks out, it spreads like wildfire, and the whole campaign is kerfloppo.
Quite so, quite so. The utmost secrecy.
You realize, of course, these things cost like crazy.
Would, say, $1 million cover expense?
Come again?
I said, would $1 million cover it?
Why, yes, I am at... You did say $1 million.
I understood that you have handled some very large accounts. Of course, if this is too big...
No, not at all, not at all. As a matter of fact, I seldom touch anything less. Right, Oliver?
Huh? Oh, of course. That's right, Mr. Ryan. Absolutely right. Yes, sir.
You will begin, then, by saturating the newspapers, the radio, the streetcars with a very simple statement.
What's that?
I will write it on a card. Here you are.
The Martians are coming. Say, that's not a bad teaser. Got that, Oliver?
Yes, sir.
The next ad will read, June 1st is Martian Day.
June 1st is Martian Day.
What happens on June 1st?
The parade takes place.
What parade?
I wish you to arrange a parade up Fifth Avenue.
You mean like the Macy Parade?
Exactly. Except that the theme will be the world of tomorrow, the Martian world. My client would like it to be a gay affair. Balloons, clowns, pennants, pretty drum majorettes.
Say, that sounds terrific. I might be able to interest the department stores in a tie-in.
Fine. The parade will climax the campaign. On June 1st, the product will be unveiled.
Good enough. By the way, Mr. Luchar, just what is the product? What are we selling?
Oh, no, Mr. Ryan. Secrecy, remember?
Yeah, but after all...
Mr. Ryan, all will be revealed to you in good time. For the moment, let us say that we are selling a concept.
A concept?
The concept of invasion from Mars.
Sorrel Talent Agency.
Sammy Sorrel, please.
This is Sammy.
This is Sid Ryan over at Publicity Associates. Listen, Sammy, how are you fixed for midgets?
I got midgets.
Fine, I need 40 midgets for a parade. 40. June 1st. And listen, Sammy, I want them dressed in little spacesuits.
In little...
You know, like men from Mars.
Mars.
Okay? And I want some movie extras, maybe 50 of them.
50.
Also rigged up like men from Mars. Make them look gruesome. Got that?
Gruesome.
Also, I need some horses with pretty girls on top of them. Maybe you can get that bunch from Maroney's Traveling Circus, the one we booked for the Fireman's Parade in Albany last year.
Yeah, I'll try, Sid.
Never mind the expense. Just get me the talent.
It sounds like you landed a big client. Who is it?
It's a secret. I gotta hang now. Call me back, Sammy.
Right.
How you doing, Oliver?
Oh, fine, Mr. Ryan, just fine. I got 100 small boys pasting little stickers. The Martians are coming on the subway platforms.
Good.
We got full-page ads in all the dailies.
Good.
And 10-second spot announcements on every local station.
Good.
It's costing a fortune.
Good. The more it costs, the bigger our percentage. Spend like you were going to the electric chair, Oliver.
Yes, sir. How are you making out in the parade?
If it comes off, it'll be the biggest thing since Barnum invented the midget. I've got Macy's, Gimbals, and Saks to contribute floats. Everything is built around the Martian theme, see? Even the horses will have long feelers attached to them and funny-looking extra legs. It'll be sensational.
That sounds fine, only...
Only what?
Mr. Ryan, we don't even know what we're selling.
Oliver, my boy, do you think old Sid Ryan has been sitting here spending all this moolah and not putting two and two together?
You mean you know who Luchar represents?
Just by accident, understand? I have learned that Century Pictures is making a big new epic. One of those expensive pictures they make in secret and then spring on the public because they don't want the other studios to get the jump on them.
What's the picture?
A space opera titled Invasion from Mars. Get it?
Oh, I begin to see.
Also, by mere coincidence, it's supposed to have its premiere sometime around June 1st. You follow me?
Yes, but, Mr. Ryan, Century has an exclusive contract with New Feature Syndicate for all their publicity.
Suppose Century Pictures doesn't like the way New Features is handling their stuff. They want to get out of the contract, but New Feature says no, so they have to get around the contract. A man named Luchar, client unknown, starts publicizing the Martian invasion. Need I go further?
I don't know, Mr. Ryan. Sounds pretty far-fetched to me, but I don't know.
That's what I like about you, Oliver. You're so innocent. Now, let me talk to Commissioner Patrick, please. Sid Ryan.
Hello.
Commish, Sid Ryan.
Oh. How are you, Ryan?
Fine.
What is it this time? You want to drop a man off the Empire State Building into a teacup full of water? The answer is no. Also, we're not arresting any fan dancers.
You know I don't handle fan dances. I want a permit for a parade. June 1st, 5th Avenue. It's a Sunday. There's no traffic.
Now, look, Ryan,
Macy's gets a permit. Gimbals gets a permit. The American Legion gets a permit. The Sons of Erin march every time Morton Downey sings the Wearing of the Green. Oh, don't give me a hard time, Patrick. This is too big. I have the 5th Avenue Merchants Association behind me.
Okay, Ryan. Fill out the forms. I'll pass them along to the license commissioner.
That's my boy.
By the way, what's the occasion for this parade?
Oh, don't you read the papers, Patrick? June 1st is Martian Day.
How is the campaign going, Mr. Ryan?
Like wildfire, Mr. Luchar, like wildfire. Everybody and his brother is going along with the gag. Yesterday, we distributed 50,000 Martian hats to school kids. I got some of the merchants doing World of Tomorrow displays in their windows. Every big novelty manufacturer in town is climbing on the bandwagon. They want to get into the parade with floats, giveaways, anything. Everybody smells a buck to be made. I wouldn't be surprised if the mayor himself declared Martian Day. I've even arranged for Commissioner Patrick to accept a $50,000 check for the Policeman's Benevolent Fund from the man from Mars. Oh, it's terrific, terrific. My blood pressure's up to 200.
Excellent.
I understand Century Pictures spent over $1 million making that space opera.
I beg pardon?
Oh, come, Mr. Luchar. Sid Ryan wasn't born yesterday, you know. I know who our client is, even if you don't admit it.
You do?
Always thinking that's me.
Well, as long as you know, let's keep it to ourselves, shall we, Mr. Ryan? As you once remarked, when these things leak out, it destroys the surprise and ruins the effectiveness of the campaign.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Daly speaking to you from our portable transmitter atop the reviewing stand for the much-heralded Martian Parade on Fifth Avenue. It's a beautiful sunlit day here in New York, a perfect day for a parade. and the streets are packed with thousands of spectators, all eager to find out what this is all about. There's an air of shrill expectancy. Some of the kids and their parents have been camped on the curbstone since early this morning to be sure of ringside seats when the so-called Martians pass by. I've just had word from Saul Brown up at Central Park Mall that the Martians have landed from big pink balloons. And now, while we're waiting for the arrival of the parade, we brought some people up to our microphone to tell you their reactions to this most spectacular of all publicity stunts. That's right, come on. What's your name, madam?
Miss Ada Shackley.
A little louder, please.
Miss Ada Shackley.
Uh-huh, and where are you from, Mrs. Shackley?
Columbus, Ohio.
I see. And I see you have your family with you, too. Two little curly-headed blonde boys. Are you in New York on vacation?
We came for the Shriners Convention with their daddy.
What do you think of Martian Day, Mrs. Shackley?
Well, it all seems very strange to me, but the boys have been pestering me to watch it, so we've been standing here 2 hours. I can't make head or tail of it.
Well, neither can a lot of other people, Mrs. Shackley. But judging by the thousands here today, there's a lot of curiosity.
Curiosity killed the cat, folks say.
Well, let's hope not. Thank you, Mrs. Shackley.
Mr. Ryan's here.
Ryan, right. And this is Mr. Sid Ryan, ladies and gentlemen, the publicity man who's the brains behind the Martian Day stunt. Hello, Sid.
Good morning, Kenneth.
Easy, not so close to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Sid, you've certainly lifted the lid this time.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Sid, there's been a great deal of speculation as to exactly what all this is leading up to. I've heard some folks say it's a big war bond drive. Others think it's just to stimulate local business. And, look, I understand in the trade itself, the smart money says you're building for the premiere of Century's forthcoming extravaganza, Invasion from Mars. Now, come clean. Can you tell us what the real story is?
Ken. I'd like to, but honestly, I can't.
Oh, man of mystery, eh? Are you going to watch the parade from the stand here?
No, Ken, I can't stand noise. I'm going up to my office and watching comfort.
Well, thank you, Sid Ryan, and good luck. And here they come, ladies and gentlemen. The first units of the big Martian parade, swinging down Fifth Avenue with fanfare, colored streamers, music, confetti, floats, all the trappings of a Mardi Gras. And here in the vanguard is a whole troop of little midgets in weird-looking pink and blue spacesuits, carrying Rube Goldberg weapons with signs painted on them. Let's see, I can read one which says, Atomic Blaster. Another one has a placard reading, We're Martian through Georgia. And here come the clowns, laughing and falling all over each other. They're giving free sugar candy to the kids along the way. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a happy, laughing crowd along Fifth Avenue today. A true reflection of the great sense of humor and good nature that makes America the place it is. This is promised as the climax of the show. And now a great hush has fallen over the crowd. It's quite a sight to see these thousands of people standing here expectantly, hearing only the great regular sigh of their mass breathing. And now here they come, ladies and gentlemen, the Martians, marching in booted, helmeted ranks, row after row of them. My, this is an impressive sight, ladies and gentlemen, and a rather serious contrast to the rest of the joyous slapstick parade we've witnessed. There are perhaps, 200 tall, broad-chested men dressed in metallic gray spacesuits with thick glass visors drawn across their faces. Each is holding an ominous-looking ray gun at the ready position. They're marching in absolute silence, keeping step perfectly, as though some mute, unspoken command were marking time for them. The crowd seems rather grim and serious now. Perhaps they're reminded of the actuality of war and possible invasion. They stand solemnly, silently, watching. Even the children are awed. And now the first ranks of the Martians are moving past us down Fifth Avenue toward the reviewing stands at the square. No one moves. What's that? What's happening? There, a woman, ladies and gentlemen. She dashed out into the street. For what reason, I don't know. She attempted to lift the visor of one of the Martian spacesuits, but just as she reached the Martian, she fell forward in a dead faint. I tell you, I've never felt such mass tension in a crowd as we're experiencing here right now, today. All sorts of rumors have begun filtering back through the audience. There are excited whispers of she's dead, she fainted, and now an undercurrent of, what? They're really Martians. This is an example of how a single incident can precipitate mass hysteria, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, it's a mighty reassuring sight to see the blue uniforms of New York's finest spaced every 10 feet or so along the avenue. Somehow, I can't explain it, this incident has begun to work on what was a moment ago a happy, carefree crowd, and the complexion is changing.
Did you see that? A woman fainted.
Of course I saw it.
What do you suppose she saw?
Oliver, old man, did I ever tell you you were too naive for this business?
But that young woman ran out into the streets to get a close look at the Martians, and then she screamed and fainted dead away.
I'm well aware of that, Oliver, since I paid her $50 to do it.
What?
The dramatic moment, Oliver, the stock and trade of the good publicity, man. Relax.
Holy smokes, you sure think of everything.
Yeah, for my share of this deal, roughly $100,000, I can afford to think of everything. Shut the window.
Don't you want to see the finish?
We'll go down to the reviewing stand for the finish. Right now, I want to make a phone call. By the way, where's Lucha?
I haven't seen him.
Oh, he'll be around.
Boy, those Martians sure look like the real thing.
How would you know the real thing if you saw it, Oliver?
Well, gee, I don't know.
Close the window, Oliver.
Oh, yes, Mr. Ryan.
Sorrel's Talent Agency.
Sammy, this is Sid Ryan.
Say, listen, Sid, I was going to call you. I'm awful sorry about those Martians.
What do you mean, sorry? They're terrific.
No, don't joke, Sid. I mean it.
Well, I mean it, too. They're great, great.
Are you in the bag?
Never felt better.
You mean it, don't you?
Of course I mean it. What is this?
There are Martians in the parade?
About 150. Of course, I only ordered 50, but
Sid.
under the circumstances...
Sid.
Well, what is it?
Sid, don't you know? I couldn't get you a single movie extra. There's a studio strike in New York. I was going to call you, but I figured...
Hey, wait a minute. Where'd these guys come from if you didn't hire them?
I don't know. Maybe Oliver.
Oh, hold on. Oliver?
Yes, Mr. Ryan?
Did you hire those Martians?
No, sir,
Sammy, this is on the level, isn't it?
Honest, Sid,
Okay, Sammy, I'll call you back.
What's the matter, Mr. Ryan?
I don't know. I just don't know. I've got to locate Lucha. What's Century Pictures number?
Mr. Ryan, this is Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Well, get me their publicity director, Marty Sanford, at home.
Oh, yes, sir. E, 2, 4. Here you are.
Thanks.
Sanford.
Marty, this is Sid Ryan.
Oh, hello, Sid. How's the big
Fine,
promotion?
fine. Listen, Marty, this is dead serious. On the level. Get it?
What's wrong?
I've got to locate Lucha.
Lou who?
Lucha, come on now, Marty. This is life and death. The guy you sent over to hire me for the invasion picture.
Invasion picture?
Invasion from Mars, the space opera.
Are you batty?
Marty.
That picture was shelved last month.
What?
Sure, back in the can. Too expensive and too fantastic. The big shots decided you can't sell a Martian invasion to the American public. And I never heard of a guy named Lou...
Mother heaven.
What is it, Mr. Ryan? You look terrible.
That's too fantastic.
What's too fantastic, Mr. Ryan? Is something wrong?
Open that window. I want another look at those Martians.
Yes, sir.
Look at them. Oliver, you were in the Army. Could 150 movie extras learn to march like that in, say, 24 hours?
Not in 24 days, Mr. Ryan.
Not a second's hesitation. Not one other step. Look at the way they carry those ray guns at the ready. The only other time I've seen troops march like that was in a film of the Nazi stormtroops marching through the streets of Paris. See those chests on them? That's pride. Sheer, arrogant pride. Look at those chins. That's contempt. Nobody could act like that.
Mr. Ryan!
Oliver, get down there. Find that woman who fainted. Her name's Gloria Montex. Get her up here. Make it fast.
Here she is, Mr. Ryan. I can't get much sense out of her.
Stay away from me.
Gloria, it's me, Sid Ryan.
Oh, don't kid me. You're a Martian.
Gloria, settle down.
No, you're wearing a mask.
Baby, it's me, Sid.
And underneath, it's awful. It's all big green eyes and those feelers like a catfish.
Baby, snap out of it. Listen, what happened down there? You ran out and screamed like I told you, but the fainting, that wasn't in the act.
Oh, go away, please. Go away.
What'd you see?
Oh, no, please. It's too awful. Please, please.
Just one question, baby. Inside that helmet, what'd you see?
You won't get anything out of her, Mr. Ryan. She needs a doctor.
Okay, Oliver, I've heard enough anyway. You take care of Gloria here. Get her a drink.
Where are you going?
To see the commissioner. We got to stop this parade before things begin to happen.
Okay, Ryan, what's the beef?
Listen, Patrick, I don't know what it is, see, but something's wrong. You got to stop that parade.
I suppose you'd like the riot squad. That would get you a front-page spread on every paper in town. Honest, you publicity guys give me a pay.
This may be a matter of life and death.
Oh, sure. Look, Ryan, I've got no time for your cheap publicity gags. I'm a busy man.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you I don't know where these Martians came from, who they are, anything about them. All I want you to do is stop the parade and make sure they're on the level.
Ryan, I'm wise to your tricks. Now, if you let the sergeant show you out...
You won't do it, huh? An honest citizen appeals for protection and you refuse it.
I most emphatically do. Now beat it.
All right, Patrick. I'll go right to the mayor's office. I'll have you busted flatter than a fried egg.
Go ahead. I'm sure His Honor will be glad to toss you out on that phony nickel-plated skull of yours.
You heard me, Ryan. You cannot see the mayor.
Adolf, please. This isn't a gag. I don't want publicity. All I want to do is maybe prevent something horrible from happening.
In case you don't know it, wise guy, something horrible is already happening. A couple hundred little kids are in the hospital with ptomaine poisoning from that phony Martian candy you passed out. Or didn't you know?
I didn't. We've got to stop that parade.
Sure you'd like nothing better than to start a panic now. Maybe a few hundred people would get trampled to death. Think of the newspaper space that would get you and your product.
I won't stand for this, Adolf.
You won't have to, because you're going to get out of here right now. Go on, beat it. Get out. You and your publicity stunts make me sick to my stomach.
Oliver! Oliver, where are you? Oliver! Oliver!
It is useless to scream at him, Mr. Ryan. Your friend is quite dead.
Lucha.
He wanted to run to the police with some story about a Martian invasion. I found it necessary to restrain him.
Restrain him, you stinking murderer.
Now, Mr. Ryan, collect yourself. After all our planning, it wouldn't do to have everything spoiled, now would it?
Lucha, start talking and talk fast, because when you get through, I'm going to take you apart piece by piece. What's this all about?
But surely you know, Mr. Ryan, after all, you've been publicizing it for months.
Listen, you...
Please, do not interrupt. You see, before colonizing your planet, we Martians sent advanced scouts to study your habits, your weaknesses. We found that the people on Earth are predominantly conditioned by advertising and publicity, and so... we conceived the idea of treating our entire invasion as a vast publicity stunt. Clever, huh? After all, Mr. Ryan, who would suspect an invader who advertised his invasion in the newspaper, invited the public to his surprise attack, and spent millions publicizing his plans?
Holy jumping catfish.
You've done very well.
Then there was no product.
Ah, but there is a product. The product is... death.
What are you trying to do, Lucha?
We Martians are a humane people, Mr. Ryan. We do not like to destroy thousands where a few hundreds would suffice. In exactly 2 minutes, our troops will treat the world to a spectacle of death, which will bring the rest of your planet to its knees in horror. Nations will clamor to surrender.
Perhaps, Mr. Lucha. But not if I can help it. You...
Yes, please.
Operator, this is Mr. Ryan. Get me the field telephone on the reviewing stand of the Martian Day Parade. Hurry.
Anyone in particular?
Just hurry.
Reviewing stand, Sergeant Cassidy.
Get me Commissioner Patrick.
Hello.
Hello.
You'll have to talk louder.
I want Commissioner Patrick.
Oh.
Patrick!
Wait a minute. Things are quieting down. Now, what was it you wanted?
This is Ryan. I have to talk to the commissioner. It's a matter of life and death.
I'm sorry, you can't talk to him now. The chief Martian is presenting the PBA check to him. The Martians are going to fire a salute.
Listen, you got to stop him.
What?
Stop him!
I'm sorry, Mr. Ryan.
You idiot! The worst is going on!
This is the operator. I'm sorry, Mr. Ryan, you've been cut off. I can't seem to get them back.
Doesn't matter, operator. Nothing matters now.
Tonight, X-1 has brought you The Parade, an original story written by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Joseph Curtin as Ryan, Joe DeSantis as Luchar, Alexander Scorby as Daly, Agnes Young as the woman, Ellen Deming as Gloria, John Thomas as Oliver, Arthur Anderson as Sammy, Wendell Holmes as the Commissioner, and William Keane as Sanford. Your announcer, Don Pardo. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is a transcribed NBC Radio Network production. Next week, the tables turn. Instead of Martians invading Earth, we bring you a tale of men invading Mars. Ray Bradbury's brilliant short story entitled Mars is Heaven. Suppose you were a member of the first rocket ship crew to land on Mars, but instead of seeing Martians, you find that you've landed in a town that looks just like home, that all your dead relatives and friends are there to greet you, so that as incredible as it may seem, you think you're really in heaven. That is, you think so, right up to the fatal moment, the moment of X-1.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. Stay tuned.
Countdown for blastoff. X -5, -4, -3, -2, X -1. Fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future. Adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X -1. Tonight's story, Mars is Heaven. When the first space rocket lands on Mars, what will we find? Only the ruins of a dead and deserted planet? Or will there be life? Intelligent life in some strange form that we can only imagine? Will we be welcomed with open arms? Or will the Martians treat us as invaders? Only one thing is certain. Someday, a giant metal ship will take off from Earth to travel through the black velocities, the silent gulfs of space, to descend at last into the darkness of the upper Martian atmospheres. And on that day, man will finally know the answers. The day we first land on Mars.
Now hear this. Now hear this. Approaching critical deceleration. Fasten gravity suits. Stand by to land.
There it is. We've intersected the course vector, sir. All right, Mr. Lustig. Over to manual control. Aye, sir. Masters, sound general quarters.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Lustig,
What do you make of the terrain?
There seems to be a heavy ground, Miss Captain. We won't be able to use the infrared lights.
And we'll have to come in on radar.
Isn't that a little risky, sir? Landing in the dark?
I'd rather run the danger of a blind landing, Lieutenant, than come in without the cover of darkness. Remember, we don't know what kind of reception is waiting for us down there.
Airspeed 500. Altitude now 4,000.
Bridge to engine room. Stand by for deceleration. Fire forward tubes 1 and 3. Steady as she goes, Mr. Lustig.
As she goes, sir.
Airspeed 100. Altitude 1,000.
Radar indicates a level stretch dead ahead, sir.
Skids down.
Skids check.
Altitude 500. 4. 350. 3.
Up a point now. All right. Let's set her down. Cut the power. Masters, pipe battle stations.
Aye, sir. All secured, sir.
Well, gentlemen, we're now on Mars, April 20th, 1987, 4:33 Greenwich time. Enter that in the log, Masters.
Aye, sir.
Well, gentlemen, it's less than 2 hours till dawn. As soon as it's light, we'll send out a landing party. Masters, get me an all-over hookup.
We're all set, Captain.
Now hear this. All right, men. The smoking lamp is lit. Well, we're on Mars. The first man shipped from Earth to land here. We don't know what we're going to find or what dangers we may face. We're 17 men on an alien world, and it's up to us whether we ever get home again. The next few hours should tell the story, and I want instant obedience to all commands. I'll court-martial the first man who doesn't jump to when he's ordered. And one other thing. We may be on Mars, but this is still a United States naval vessel. Officers will conduct a personal and weapons inspection in 1 hour. That's all.
An inspection, Captain? Now?
Mr. Lustig, we've got an hour and a half to sweat out before we find out what's outside that airlock. I'd rather have a man worried about his stripes than about what's waiting outside on Mars.
Now hear this. Landing party report to forward airlock. Captain Black, Lieutenant Hingston, Lieutenant Lustig, and Dr. Horst report immediately to forward airlock. It's now landing time -5.
Well, they're paging us. You ready, Dr. Horst?
Yes, Mr. Lustig. As ready as I will ever be.
Come on, let's get in the lock. Hingston, Lustig, and Horst reporting in the airlock.
Very well, sir. The captain will join you.
4 minutes to go. At least the captain would get here.
What difference does it make?
I just want to get it over with, that's all. Anybody got a cigarette?
Yeah, I think you're smoking too much, Lieutenant Lustig. Are you nervous?
Lay off, will you, Horst?
Wondering what's hidden outside underneath that ground mist? I've been giving it some thought. It'll be very interesting to find out. A very unusual planet, Mars.
Why?
It has an atmosphere. A wonderful thing, an atmosphere. Where you find one, you find life.
You mean Martians? What do you think they'll look like?
Who knows? Intelligent life can take many forms.
You mean they may have green skins and eyes on stalks or something?
The comic book conception is possible, of course. Or they may have developed far beyond us. Perhaps they have a science that can produce weapons far more dangerous than our atomic missiles.
You think we may have to fight our way out?
After all, we are invaders.
Now hear this. Landing time -2.
All right, we heard this.
Know what I'd like to find outside that airlock? Good old Illinois. Ever been there, Lustig?
Only Chicago.
Well, you ought to see my hometown. Green lawns, big white houses.
Sounds like my hometown.
My grandmother used to have one of those iron deer on the lawn. Every Halloween, we'd paint another color. One time, we painted it black and white like a Holstein cow.
Where does your family live, Dr. Horst?
I have no family. When I was a child, they were gassed to death in the Dachau concentration camp.
Tough.
No, it has its advantages. I have no ties on Earth. Nothing to lose now. I imagine I'm the only one on board who is free to enjoy our present peculiar position.
All right, Masters, you can button it up now.
Aye, sir.
Well, gentlemen, check your sidearms. In 1 minute, we'll be the first men to set foot on Mars. Quite an honor, eh?
As long as the medals are not rewarded posthumously.
Still uneasy, Dr. Horst?
Captain Black, I've been uneasy ever since I can remember. On Earth and on Mars.
Well, 30 seconds. Give me the intercom phone, Lustig.
Yes, sir.
Masters?
Aye, sir.
Battle stations are to be manned until we return. If we're not back in 2 hours, I want no rescue party sent out. Blast off and save the ship, you understand?
Aye, sir.
All right. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lustig, open the outer airlock.
Aye, sir.
It's fresh air.
Let's go. All right, now, take it easy. It's too dark to move fast.
Quiet, isn't it? Not even a wind. Can't see anything from this ground this time.
We don't know what's out here. All right, come on.
What the quiet? Captain, I could swear that sounds like a rooster.
I don't hear it anymore.
Very homely but unlikely sound. A rooster crowing on Mars?
Hingston?
Aye, sir.
Set that machine gun 25 yards to the flank. We'll stay here till the ground mist lifts.
Aye, sir.
What do you make of the ground, Horst?
Grass. Plain grass. You can see some large foliage there where the mist's thinned out.
What the? Hingston, hold your fire, you fool! I hit it, Captain. What? Some kind of wild animal. I hit it. I could see the tracers, but it's still standing.
Come on, Horst. Doctor, where are you?
Up ahead. Admiring the wild animal.
Careful, Horst. Wait for us.
Don't worry, Captain. It's an iron deer. A lawn ornament.
Well, that's impossible.
It's hollow. Interesting, isn't it? A whitewashed Victorian iron deer sitting on a lawn in the middle of Mars.
I don't understand.
Look around. The mist's lifting.
Hey, Captain, look there. It's a house, a regular old-fashioned house. But, sir, on Mars.
Good Lord. I haven't seen carved scrolls and gingerbread like that in years. Look at that port swing. The geraniums.
There. I told you it was a rooster, Captain.
Give me the glasses, Lustig. I want to take a look through that front window. Well, there's an upright piano. Some sheet music on it. Lustig, it's beautiful Ohio.
It can't be, sir.
Horst, do you think that civilization of two planets could be identical?
I don't know. That specific variety of geraniums is only 50 years old on Earth.
Is it logical that they should develop in Mars? How about that porch swing and the piano and beautiful Ohio? Why, it's impossible.
Captain Black, this looks like the town I was born in.
Well, it looks like my hometown, too.
I've thought of something, sir. It's the only solution. Maybe we're not the first ship to reach Mars from Earth.
Don't be ridiculous, Lustig.
Oh, how else can you explain it? Suppose some scientists got together. They invented some spaceship and planted a colony here. That's the only answer.
That's impossible, Lustig. Been space travel, it couldn't be secret. Do you have any idea what ships cost, what industrial power is needed? No, there's got to be some logical reason.
I think perhaps we might find out, Captain. A light just went on in that house.
Kingston, cover that door with the machine gun.
Aye, sir.
All right, come on, Horst. We're going to ring that doorbell. There's got to be a scientific answer to all this.
And there's something moving in there.
Stand back, Horst. Give me a clear shot.
Are you sure a bullet can stop a Martian?
Steady now.
Can I help you?
Will we...
If you're selling anything, it's much too early.
No, wait just a minute. What What town is this?
What do you mean? Are you census takers?
No. We're strangers here. We want to know how this town got here.
Is this a game?
No, it's not a game. We're from Earth.
From where?
From Earth.
Do you mean out of the ground? Are you sure you're feeling well?
Madam, we came in a flying ship across space. We're from the third planet Earth. This is Mars. Now do you understand? Mars.
You go away now, you hear? I'll call my husband from upstairs and he'll chase you. Go on.
But this is Mars, isn't it?
This is Green Lake, Wisconsin, in the United States of America. Bounded on the east by the Atlantic and on the west by the Pacific. Now go away. Goodbye.
Horst, do you suppose it's really possible? I've got to find out more about this.
I told you I'd call my husband. Now you go away.
You've got to tell me one thing first. What year is this?
Year? 1928, of course. For goodness sake.
You hear that, Horst? And we know it's 1987, and we know this is Mars. Horst, is it possible that we got fouled up, made some tremendous blunder, circled around, and landed back on Earth?
In 1928?
Well, maybe some switch in time or dimension. Could we have shifted somehow, gone backward in time? Oh, Horst, this won't hold water. It's not logical. We checked every mile. We went past the moon, out into space. We're on Mars. Lustig out at point. Hingston in the rear. Keep that gun at half load.
Aye, sir.
Horst, there's got to be some cold, logical solution.
Captain.
What?
That house down the street, the white one with the green shutters.
Lustig, what's the matter?
I never thought of... Thank God!
Lustig, come back here.
He's running for that house.
That crazy fool, after him, quick.
Lustig, stop!
Come down off of that porch.
Grandpa!
Lustig, what the devil do you think you're doing?
Albert!
Grandpa, it is you.
Lustig, what is going on here?
Albert, it's been so many years.
How you've grown, boy.
It's so good to see you.
Lieutenant Lustig!
Oh, Captain, Grandma, I want you to meet my friends. This is Captain Black. Captain, I want you to meet my grandfolks.
Howdy. Any friend of Albert's is a friend of ours.
How long have you been here, Grandma?
Oh, a good many years, ever since we died.
Ever since you what?
Oh, yes, sir. They've been dead 30 years.
What?
Oh, now, don't you trouble yourself. It's all right. We're alive again, that's all.
Do you mean to tell me that Mars is heaven?
Oh, nonsense, no. All we know is here we're alive again. And who are we to question God's infinite ways?
Well, Lustig, we're going back to the ship.
But, Captain, I want to talk to my grandpa.
Lieutenant Lustig, I don't like any part of this. You'll come back with us if I have to club you and carry you.
Aye, sir.
Now, let's go. Heaven only knows what they've run up against back at the ship. Crowd around the ship.
Looks like we're being welcomed with a celebration, Captain.
Celebration? They've abandoned ship. Every port is open. No guard set. You masters!
Hiya, Captain. Meet my old dad. Dad, that's Captain Black. He's not a bad guy for an officer.
Hingston!
What's it?
Bring that band back. Use force if you have to.
Oh, excuse me, sir. There's my Uncle George.
Hingston!
I'll be right back, Captain. Uncle George.
What the devil is going on here?
Understand, sir? They've all found friends and relatives. They're all here.
Right, Captain. I've found it. The whole crew's out in the crowd.
But I gave orders. Definite orders.
You don't understand, Captain.
I understand mutiny. I don't care how many relatives show up. I'll have discipline.
Johnny!
What?
Johnny, you old son of a gun!
It's you. Edward.
Yes.
It can't be.
Oh, of course it is. Johnny,
Ed.
you old...
Ed. Dr. Horst. This is my brother, Edward.
How do you do?
Hello, sir.
It's wonderful to see you, Edward. Look, I've got to get back to my ship.
Oh, Johnny, wait. I almost forgot. Mom's waiting at home.
Mom?
Yeah, and Dad, too.
Mom and Dad are alive? Then you're real, Ed.
Well, of course. Don't I feel real? How's that, huh?
Why, Ed!
We've got lunch for you, Johnny. Mom's making corn fritters.
Dr. Horst, haven't you found anybody?
No, Captain. I have nobody.
Oh, then you come on home with me, right, Ed?
Why, sure.
Horst, you wouldn't believe it, but it's been 35 years since I had Mom's corn fritters. By George, 35 years.
kitchen, so don't hold back, Johnny. You too, Dr. Horst.
Well, Johnny, you're still in the Navy, huh?
That's right, Dad. I'm in command of the ship.
We're an old Navy family, Dr. Horst. All three of our boys in the service.
Yeah, Ed was the best pilot in the Pacific, till... What did happen, Ed?
What's the difference? I'm here now.
Yeah, but...
You know, it's almost perfect. All we're missing is your brother Will. Then the whole family could be together.
Well, it won't be long, Mom. Will's in charge of the XR-54. Next rocket coming out to Mars.
Oh. Well, little Will. When does he leave, Johnny?
Well, the takeoff's scheduled for September, but it depends on what we report.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question about that now, huh?
No.
Christmas together again. That'll be something.
Sure will, yes, sirree. Well, this calls for a celebration. How about a little of the old dandelion wine, eh, Johnny?
Now, Father, don't you go giving Johnny too much wine.
He's a big boy now, Mother. Well, sir, isn't everything just fine? Just fine.
Play that one again, will you, Ed?
Oh, sure.
Well, Dr. Horst, what are you doing sitting over here alone? What do you think of my little family?
Very nice.
You know, I can't understand why you didn't find any folks here, Dr. Horst. It's just a shame everybody else is so happy.
Well, I never remembered my family, Mrs. Black. All I know is they were gassed at Dachau during the Second World War. When I was liberated, I was in delirium 3 months. I cannot remember anything before then. A psychiatric phenomena.
Well, that's terrible. Isn't there anything anybody can do?
I don't want to remember. I have not had a pleasant life. I prefer to be free of emotional entanglements. They interfere with a scientific approach.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Horst.
Oh, I'll get it. That's our ring, long and 3 shorts. I remember that.
Well, maybe we'd better call it a night. You must be getting tired, Johnny.
I'd better be going back to the ship.
Nonsense. You stay the night. We insist.
I just couldn't rest thinking of you all alone on that ship.
I'll be all right. Well, good night.
Oh, wait a minute, Dr. Horst. That phone message was for you.
Me?
Yes, that's right. A message from Anna.
Anna? I don't...
Well, there, she must be an old friend. Isn't that nice?
I don't... You sure it was for me? I don't remember any Anna.
Well, she asked if you were better.
Perhaps she's someone who knew you at Dachau.
Anna?
She said she's coming over here first thing in the morning. So you'll have to stay over.
Yes,
well,
but...
that settles it, then. You stay here, Horst. You can bunk with me in my old room.
Yeah, but, Johnny, we thought you'd like to be with Edward.
So you could talk the way you used to.
Well, we can't put Dr. Horst on the daybed. I think we'd better share the room tonight. Be plenty of time for talking, Ed.
Yes, I guess so.
I suppose I better drop back to the ship. You know, Ed, security check.
What? Why do you have to do that here?
I don't know, Mom. There's no good reason, I guess. Suppose we skip it tonight, huh? Well, good night, everybody.
Oh, it's good to have you home, Johnny.
It's good to be home, Mom.
Captain Black, You asleep?
No, I've been thinking about what we were expecting. Green-skinned Martians. All the time there was only Mom and Dad and Edward waiting. That's funny what tricks your imagination can play on you. Well, I guess Mars is heaven, Horst.
You know, I've been thinking about Martians, too. Captain, just suppose there were Martians, and they saw us land, and suppose they thought of us as invaders. What would be the best weapon they could use against our atom bombs, huh?
I don't see what you're getting at.
They would want to disarm us first, huh? To wipe out all suspicion, to make us feel at home. Captain, suppose this house isn't real. Suppose the people are just images, stolen from our own memories by Martians, created for us by telepathy, hypnotist. Oh, that's the craziest theory I ever heard. Maybe that's why there was no one for me. Because in all my life, there is no happy memory. No real loved person. Not even my mother. I don't remember her. Only the piles of rotting corpses at Dachau. There was no happy emotion for these people to recreate. How about that phone call? Anna? Yes, Anna. I didn't remember who she was, but I do now. I just remembered. When I was freed from Dachau, sick, delirious, I raved about a wonderful, kind nurse named Anna that took care of me. Well, there you are. It's logical. She's coming to see you tomorrow. But there was no Anna. I'd been nursed by a man. What? Anna was only a dream. And there's only one way they could have learned about her, by reading my subconscious mind. That's impossible, Horace. Why? The whole crew was thinking of home. Suppose the Martians read our minds. Yes, but if there are Martians... If there are, they have us separated. Each man in a different house, sleeping, trusting. No one at the guns. I left my pistol downstairs. Do you think there's something to this, Horst? It's a perfect trap, Captain. Who would suspect his own mother, his grandparents? How easy. Just a knife in the heart of each sleeping man. That's impossible, Horst. But we've got to get back to the ship. Listen. The crickets have stopped. Come on. We don't know when they change back to whatever they really are. All right, careful.
Where are you going, John?
Ed, we wanted a drink of water. That's all, Ed.
You're not thirsty, John. You don't want a drink.
Look out!
You don't want a
His
drink.
face! It's changing! He's a Martian! Run, Horst! Run!
You can't get away, John.
This way, Horst! Horst, where are you? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, Earth? This is Captain John Black, the XR-53 calling from Mars. I've locked myself in the ship, but they've crippled it. I can't take off or fire the guns, and they're coming for me now, the Martians. I'm all alone here. All the rest are dead. Hinkston, Lustig, Dr. Horst. Poor Horst, he didn't even reach the door. Listen. They're trying to break through the hull. Edward and Mom and Dad and all the folks, but they're changing now. They're melting and changing back into... They're Martians. Can you understand? Martians, not men. They made us think that Mars was heaven and we fell into the trap. Can you hear me, Earth? You've got to stop the next rocket. Listen, tell my brother Will. Tell my brother not to come. They'll trap him too. They'll kill them all. Hello? Can you hear me, Earth? This is John Black on Mars. Hello, Earth. This is John Black on Mars. Hello, Earth. Hello, Earth.
Tonight, X-1 has brought you the science fiction classic, Mars is Heaven, written by Ray Bradbury and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Wendell Holmes as Captain Black and Peter Capell as Dr. Horst, with Bill Zuckert as Masters, Bill Lipton as Hinkston, Margaret Berlin as the old lady, Bill Griffiths as Edward, Ken Williams as Lustig, Ethel Everett as Mom, and Edwin Jerome as Dad. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Fred Wayne as a transcribed NBC Radio Network production. Minus one.
Our next broadcast was produced for syndication in 1949 at WMGM New York. It was based on a popular series of movies in the late 1930s and early 1940s and brought to the microphone the stars of the series, Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Ayres plays the young, idealistic doctor, and Barrymore, ever in character, was the crusty, lovable diagnostician. The men worked at Blair General Hospital, one of the great citadels of American medicine, a clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York, where life begins, where life ends, where life goes on. We present to you Dr. Kildare on HOJO Radio.
The story of Dr. Kildare.
Whatsoever house I enter, there will I go for the benefit of the sick. Or whatsoever things I see or hear concerning the life of men, I will keep silence thereon, counting such things to be held as sacred trust. I will exercise my art solely for the cure.
The Story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer brought you those famous motion pictures. Now this exciting, heartwarming series is heard on radio. In just a moment, The Story of Dr. Kildare. Now, The Story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Blair General Hospital, one of the great citadels of American medicine. A clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York, the nerve center of medical progress, where great minds and skilled hands wage man's everlasting battle against death and disease. Blair General Hospital, where life begins, where life ends, where life goes on. I know you dislike sentimentalism, Dr. Gillespie, but, well, the best I'd hoped for was a chance to work with you on these Betatron treatments, and when instead you put me in full charge of the project.
Ah, now, Kildare, don't start gushing around like an old maid at a fraternity dance. Forget it.
Well, anyway, thanks.
We're living in a high-speed age, Jimmy, and it affects medicine along with everything else. You younger men are the ones who'll have to keep up with it. It was only a few years ago that the sulfur drugs came along, then penicillin and the other antibiotics. A little later, the radioactive compounds, and now the Betatron.
Well, every one of those has meant another big step forward in medicine and a lot of new problems and new techniques to be learned. Why, most of the formulas and calculations Miller has used in designing this machine come from a branch of mathematics I've never even heard of.
Well, the further science advances, the more specialized it becomes, and the more interdependent. All you can do is take a fellow scientist's results on faith. Assume he's right, and then go ahead.
I'm willing to do that in this case. Bart Miller is one of the best mathematicians and physicists in the country. So my main concern now is the fact we can treat cancers lying close to the brain. Those we couldn't touch before with surgery, x-rays, or anything else. As you know, that's as important as...
Pardon me, Dr. Kildare, but the specimen lab called. They've isolated the 6 guinea pigs you ordered and have them ready for you.
Oh, good, Parker. Will you have them sent down to the new lab in the basement? I'll be there later.
All right, Dr. Kildare.
I've scheduled the first test run with the machine for 3 o'clock this afternoon.
What about the first human test?
Oh, that won't be a test, Dr. Gillespie. It'll be a treatment.
Oh.
And the patient is Janet Dane. Maybe you remember her.
Oh, yes. The young artist who was in here for a diagnosis about a month ago. She had a throat cancer, high up on the left side, well advanced, and not treatable.
Until now. She's coming in for consultation in an hour. I just talked with her on the phone. You know, I'm worried about her mental condition, though. She's got to want to get well. But apparently she doesn't even care. When we told her she had cancer, she seemed to lose all her belief in everything.
Well, that's one problem you younger doctors still have to deal with, Jimmy. The problem of the human mind and heart and soul. There's no machine for that one. You'll have to solve that all alone.
Then, as I understand it, Dr. Kildare, I'll be fastened in some sort of chair in a small room down in the basement while this atom smasher shoots a narrow beam of high-frequency radiation through my throat.
Yes, that's essentially correct, Miss Dane. Each treatment lasts about 3 minutes, and it'll take several of them before we know the results. You'll be able to hear the Betatron running, of course, but you'll have no other sensation and no pain.
Nevertheless, I take it there is some danger involved.
Oh, not as far as we know. You'll be the first patient to be treated here at Blair, of course, but similar machines have been used successfully in other places.
Well, then why all these precautions you told me about? 3-foot concrete walls on the room I'll be in, and with lead shields around it, and you and the other operators looking in at me through portholes.
Well, there's quite a lot of difference between the careful controlling and focusing of that beam where you want it to go and just turning the radiation loose and permitting indiscriminate exposure to it. But with proper handling of the machine, there's nothing to be frightened about.
Oh, don't misunderstand me, Dr. Kildare. There's no question of being frightened. I've stopped being frightened of anything.
I know. I almost wish you were a little frightened. I wish you cared enough to be.
Care? About what, my life? Why should I? When you told me a month ago I was going to lose it.
No, not quite that. I said that without treatment you had around 6 months to live. But we're ready now to start treatment.
But there's nothing really certain about this $1 million gadget, is there? It's still only a chance.
A very good chance, though. Well, it's true, there are types of cancer that don't respond particularly to Betatron radiation, but I'm confident yours will.
Would you still be as confident if you were in my place, Dr. Kildare?
I know how it would sound if I said your life is more important to me than mine, so we'll let that go. But all our lives depend on chance. I could be killed by an automobile tomorrow, and you might live to be 90.
Oh.
Of course, there's some chance involved in this treatment, but all the odds are with us. You've got to believe and have faith.
In what? I had faith in myself until this came along. So what can you put faith in?
Well, if nothing else, why not me? I mean, in whatever knowledge and ability I have as a doctor, and the confidence I feel about the treatment.
Suppose the treatment doesn't work.
It will.
You're so sincere and convincing. A person could believe in you easily. Could want to believe in you.
Then give it a try, will you?
You won't let me down, Dr. Kildare?
No, Miss Dane. I won't let you down.
Why, it's as plain as the nose on your face. That girl's fallen in love with you. There's no doubt about it.
That's ridiculous. You're always jumping to conclusions on insufficient evidence.
I know the symptoms, Jimmy. And under the circumstances, it was inevitable. Every woman falls in love with her doctor at least once. It's a psychological fact.
Well, not Janet Dane. She isn't the type.
Well, maybe she's not your type, but every woman is a type.
Well, I hope you're wrong. I've been through that particular patient problem before. Oh, in fact, I know you're wrong.
Okay, Kildare. I'm ready to go ahead on the tests whenever you are.
All right, Bart, let's get started. Wayman, you can bring that first cage over now.
Gotcha, boss. One live guinea pig coming up. Cute little gopher, ain't he, Doc?
Yeah. Bart, is it safe to go inside now?
Yes, everything's cut off. Go ahead.
Come on, Joe.
Jeepers. This room gives me the whim-whim. Oh, there's nothing in here but that one chair. It looks like an execution chamber.
It's intended to be just the opposite. Now, take that guinea pig out of the cage, Joe. I've got to strap him in place here on the head of the chair.
Okay, boss.
Thanks.
Say, he acts kind of dopey.
He's under a sedative, so he'll stay quiet during the test.
Oh, this ain't gonna hurt the little fella, is it, Tom?
No, he won't even know anything's going on. Now, there we are. Oh, come on, Joe. Let's get out of here.
That's okay by me. That thing there looks like a machine gun pointing through the wall there. It's even got ring sights on it.
When you fire a 30 million volt shot, it's a good idea to know where you're aiming. All clear, Bart. It's yours from here on.
Okay. Roll him over, Jim.
Right.
Dr. Gillespie, you can use this porthole here if you like.
Thank you.
I don't see nothing happening yet, boss.
Speed steady at 21,000, Bart.
All right. Cut in the primaries.
Secondary plates are holding on 27.53, Bart.
Good. Are the grids open?
Yeah. 31, round the clock.
Well, gentlemen, this is it. Test number 1. On 0, Jim?
Right.
Ready. Now.
I don't see nothing happening in there, Doc.
No, and you won't see anything, Joe. The beam is invisible.
Oh, that little gopher inside there sure don't seem to mind it none.
He doesn't even feel it. Well, 2 minutes, 43 seconds more to go. You've seen the whole procedure now, Miss Dane. That guinea pig in there is the 8th one we've tested this week. 3-minute exposures each time, and not one has shown any ill effects.
Well, this one certainly seems to feel all right. Guess if a guinea pig can go through with it, I can too. When do we start?
Well, the first treatment is scheduled for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
I see.
You've decided to take my advice.
Yes. Whatever faith I have, it's all in you now. I guess that ought to put you on the spot.
I suppose it does in a way, but thanks for doing it.
Oh, Kildare. Oh, so you're still down here. Am I too late for the run?
Yes, we just finished, Dr. Gillespie. Everything worked perfectly. Bart's there in the control room now making a final check over.
Ron, Kildare, I've just completed it. All okay.
Oh, good.
Now, Jim and I'll come in at 7:30 in the morning, have it warmed up, ready to roll any time from 8:30 on.
Now, then it'll work out nicely. We're scheduled for 9.
Well, how do you feel, Miss Dane?
Better than I have any time for the past month, Dr. Gillespie. Thanks to my physician, who's a pretty wonderful guy, in case you didn't know it.
Yeah, that fits in with a little theory of mine on psychology.
Now, let's not go into that, Dr. Gillespie.
Jeepers, Doc, they've been trying to call you up at the lab. You know what's happened?
No, what is it, John?
Them 2 guinea pigs you tested down here Monday are both dead.
Dead?
What? They just now found them keeled over in their cages, colder than a March herring.
Yeah, looks as though you'd better do some more testing before you start your treatments, Jimmy.
It couldn't have been caused by the machine. Their blood count, cell structure, vasocardiac, reflexes, everything showed no damage after the tests. Now, they've died from something else. It's pure coincidence. Bound to be.
Well, they certainly didn't get anything from Big Betsy here but a shot of straight high-freak radiation. I'll swear to that. Nothing else showed up on the test blocks or the recorders.
Well, nevertheless, we'd better not take any chances with Miss Dane until we're sure what happened.
No, I'm not afraid. Whatever Dr. Kildare says, that's all right with me. I've complete confidence in him.
Even under the circumstances.
Of course. It's a little matter of faith, you know.
All right, Miss Dane. We'll go ahead with the first treatment as originally scheduled.
Continue with the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Well, there's no use carrying the topsy any farther, Dr. Gillespie. Same condition in the lungs, congested and inflamed. This animal died from the same cause as the other one.
Certainly. From pneumonia. I told you that 3 hours ago, Jimmy, without any autopsy.
I know, but we still had to make sure. What time is it?
Oh, after midnight.
I guess I better clean up this mess and get some sleep.
You're still going ahead with that treatment in the morning?
Yes.
We don't know what caused the pneumonia, Jimmy.
But I do know that it wasn't the Betatron.
Coincidence, then.
Yes. Those 2 guinea pigs were left overnight in that basement lab. It's damp down there. They may come from a susceptible strain. They were new specimens, delivered only the day before. They may even have been infected when they came to the hospital.
Yeah, there's possibility, yeah. But there's nothing sure about any one of them.
No, but as far as I'm concerned, these things are sure. 1, when Bart Miller says the machine is functioning perfectly, I'm sure that it is. 2, I'm sure there's no medical theory to account for high-frequency radiation causing pneumonia, without at least some evidence of cell damage or blood deterioration or some of the other signs we've looked for tonight. 3, I'm sure that without treatment, Janet Dane will be dead in less than 6 months.
Well, Jimmy, it's your decision. And it's a hard one any way you look at it. The girl has a lot of confidence in you.
I know. It's the one thing she's clinging to now.
Plus, of course, the fact that she's in love with you.
No, you're wrong about that.
Well, maybe. Anyway, what are you going to do? Cancel the treatment or go ahead?
Well, Janet said her confidence was only as strong as mine. All the knowledge and skill I have tells me there's no reason for delaying that treatment. I know I'm right, and I'm going ahead with it. The schedule is still 9 o'clock in the morning.
Dr. Gillespie, we're ready to roll any time Kildare gets here with the patient.
Good. He's due any minute now.
Jim and I have gone over Big Betsy with a fine-tooth comb. Everything works perfectly. I'd stake my life on it.
Well, in a way, we are staking a life on it.
Dr. Gillespie, when I think what that poor child has to go through, I just get so nervous I could scream.
Oh, fine, Parker. That's all we need to build up Miss Dane's courage. A screaming nurse waiting to greet her.
Well, after what I heard you and Dr. Kildare saying last night, I certainly can't be very calm about this.
By the tarn, eavesdropping.
I was not. I only happened to overhear it.
Oh, sure you did, Snoopy.
Oh, yeah, I know just how she feels, Doc. I mean, sir, it ain't like there was a guinea pig in there. This time it's going to be a real live thing.
Wayman, you're an ambulance driver, and you got no business down here. Get out.
Yeah, but what if she maybe passes out, maybe, and we got to haul her up on a stretcher or something?
Oh, confound it. This isn't an execution. It's an attempt to save a human life. So stop acting like members of a death watch.
Dr. Gillespie, here she is.
Well, Dr. Kildare, I seem to have quite a welcoming committee. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Well, how do you feel, Miss Dane?
Oh, fine, Dr. Gillespie. Well, can someone at least smile? This isn't an execution, you know.
Yeah.
How about it, Bart? Already in your department?
Sure, anytime. Roll him over, Jim.
Right. I guess there's no point in delaying things, Miss Dane. Shall we go on inside?
Yes. Let's get it over with. Well, we who are about to die salute you.
About to live, Miss Dane.
Dr. Gillespie, if I didn't believe that, too, I wouldn't be joking about it. All right, Dr. Kildare, let's go. This room was made less scary when the guinea pig was in here and I was outside.
Well, you'll be outside again in a little over 3 minutes. Now climb into that chair. We'll get you settled.
Like so?
That's right. Just lean back against the headrest.
All right.
Put your arms like there. Now all you have to do is sit here for 3 minutes. Don't move. Don't turn your head. Now, this microphone here will pick up your heartbeat while this tube on your arm registers blood pressure. I'll be following them on recording dials outside the window there. And if you get nervous or want the thing stopped for any reason, just press this button under your hand and we'll shut off the whole works. You got it?
Yes. I won't press the button, though.
Oh, good girl. You've got a lot of courage, Miss Dane.
Believe me, Doctor, it's going to be all right.
I know it is.
I wonder if you'll know what I mean when I tell you I love you.
Well, I guess it's...
You don't know. But you will when I'm well again.
Miss Dane, you're a very beautiful woman, but...
Thank you, Doctor. I suppose we may as well get started. Don't you think?
All right. I'll be at the window.
I'm not worried, Dr. Kildare.
All right, Bart. It's up to you.
Okay. Cut in the primaries, Jim. Hold steady on those grids.
Right.
Kildare, will you do the sighting?
All right, Bart.
That poor child.
Parker, shut up.
It's dead on, Bart. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Secondaries at 28.25, Bart. Grids are in.
Here goes. All right, Jim. Cut her loose.
Good luck, honey.
Jeepers, she's sitting there and taking it without batting an eyebrow.
She's so brave. I just can't get over it.
She seems nervous, Jimmy. Starting to wet her lips, and nothing wrong, is there?
Heartbeat is steady. Blood pressure normal. No, everything's all right, Dr. Gillespie.
30 seconds.
Look, Dr. Gillespie, she must be all right. She's smiling.
Parker, that's the smile of a woman in love.
Why, I didn't know that. With whom?
With Kildare.
Well.
Now, it's the smile of a woman who's convinced she's going to live. A woman who's just got to live. All right, Wayman, let's get the door open and bring her out.
Okay, boys.
Well, she came through it okay, Dr. Gillespie.
I hope so, Jimmy. The guinea pig didn't die until the second day.
No, I'm not worried about that. All I'm hoping is that these treatments work. Of course, we realize some cancers aren't susceptible to this, but we won't know for 3 weeks or more.
Well, as far as I could see, everything worked like a charm, Kildare. When do you plan to give her the second treatment?
Oh, day after tomorrow, if she's feeling all right. And, nice work, boy.
Thanks.
Well, Dr. Kildare, was I not a good patient?
How do you feel?
Fine. A little shaky's all.
Miss Parker's going to take you up to your room now. You can have breakfast whenever you want it. I'll see you a little later. And Miss Dane, you were a perfect patient.
Well, you know why, Dr. Kildare.
That's right, Bart. Treatment number 4 is scheduled for 10:30 in the morning. Right. Bye.
It's not that I mind the treatments, Dr. Kildare, but when are we going to know?
Still too soon to be able to tell, Miss Dane. You've just got to be patient, that's all.
I don't know, Jimmy. She's had 10 treatments now, and neither the x-rays nor the measurements show any change in the size of that cancer. I just don't know.
That's right. Treatment number 14, 9 tomorrow morning. All right, Mr. Miller. Goodbye.
X-rays again at 2 this afternoon. Why, Dr. Kildare? Nothing's going to happen. It's been over 2 months, and you told me 3 weeks.
Yes, I know, Miss Dane. Well, all we can do is to keep trying.
I'm sorry. All right, I'll be there at 2.
Good morning, Miss Dane.
Oh, Dr. Kildare. You've got my x-rays.
That's right. Dr. Gillespie and I just finished reading them.
What did... I mean, did they...
Skipping the technical details, the cancer is no longer malignant. It's starting to atrophy, decrease size. That's also borne out by the measurements we made yesterday.
Then you mean that...
I mean it should be completely absorbed within 2 months. Miss Dane, you're cured.
Oh, Dr. Kildare, I love you.
Well, I'm sure you think you do.
Oh, I don't think I do. I know it.
Well, let me put it this way. It's a psychological fact that women very often imagine themselves in love with their doctors. Of course, it's only temporary, but...
Oh, silly. I'm not that sort of giddy female. When I came to you, I was lost. I was scared. I knew I was going to die, and I didn't even care. But you made me care. You gave me hope and courage and faith, and I loved you for it. So I put my life in your hands, and now you've given it back to me. That's why I say I love you. I'll never forget you. Jimmy, thank you for my life.
Thank me? Why? You know, I've always believed that life is the most precious stuff on this earth. That's why I'm a doctor, Janet. So if you did put your life in my hands, and if I did save it, then I'm humbly grateful for the chance.
In just a moment, we will return to the story of Dr. Kildare. Once again, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Dr. Gillespie, you remember Janet Dane?
Dane? Janet Dane?
She was in here some months ago. You know, the first patient we treated after the Betatron was installed.
Oh, sure. Of course I remember her. Whatever happened to her?
Oh, she got cured and went away, bravely stifling her mad infatuation for me.
What?
But don't you remember? You had quite a theory at the time that Miss Dane was desperately in love with me.
Ah, confound it. She was in love with you. Probably still is. Jimmy, it's a psychological fact.
I know that every woman falls in love with her doctor at least once in her life. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty ridiculous theory, Dr. Gillespie.
Well, now, you don't know for sure just because the girl kept her feelings hidden.
Well, I know now, all right. She called me up this afternoon.
Well, now.
She wanted to tell me she was married last week. Well, I guess I'd better get back to work. So long. Oh, Parker, how would you like to do me a favor?
Why, of course, Dr. Kildare.
Well, Gillespie's in there tearing a pet theory to pieces with his teeth.
What?
And let him stew for about 10 minutes. And then go in and tell him that the man Janet Dane married works over at the medical center. He's a research doctor.
You have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. This program was written by Les Crutchfield and directed by William P. Russo. Original music was composed and conducted by Walter Schumann. Dick Joy speaking.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. More classic old-time radio coming your way next.
The story of Dr. Kildare.
Whatsoever house I enter, there will I go for the benefit of the sick. Whatsoever things I see or hear concerning the life of men, I will keep silence thereon, counting such things to be held as sacred trusts. I will exercise my art solely for the cure of my patients.
The story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer brought you those famous motion pictures. Now this exciting, heartwarming series is heard on radio. In just a moment, the story of Dr. Kildare. But first, your announcer. Now the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Blair General Hospital, one of the great citadels of American medicine. A clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York, the nerve center of medical progress, where great minds and skilled hands wage man's everlasting battle against death and disease. Blair General Hospital, where life begins, where life ends, where life goes on.
Good morning, Dr. Kildare.
Good morning, Molly. What are you doing here in Dr. Gillespie's outer office? Where's Nosy Parker?
It's her day off.
Well, you're supposed to be the head nurse around here.
Somebody has to look after Dr. Gillespie. Oh, you going in to see him now?
Yes, he wants me to look at a patient with him.
Take a good look at him, will you? He doesn't look very well to me this morning.
Sure, I'll take a good look at him.
Come in.
Oh. Good morning, Dr. Gillespie.
It's you, huh?
Were you expecting someone else?
No, not really. But a man can always hope, can't he?
Look, you invited me down here. I'm not forcing my way in, you know. How do you feel?
Now, don't start in on me.
Start what on you?
Oh, that how do you feel routine. I've been getting that all morning. I feel fine. I never felt better. I feel great.
Think I'll take your temperature?
I don't need my temperature taken. Oh, these fledgling doctors that keep wanting to take temperatures all the time.
And I've seen you in some bad humors, but you're really surpassing yourself this time.
Oh, I feel fine. I feel fine, I tell you.
All right, you feel fine. Now, who's the patient you want me to see?
He's in 303. His name's Warren Jackson. He was admitted last night.
What's wrong with him?
Well, that's what we got to find out. He attempted suicide.
Oh? How?
Slashed his wrist with a razor. Wife found him. Didn't do much damage, though. I want to know why he tried to commit suicide. He's newly married, apparently very happy. He's a successful insurance broker. There's no reason in the world for suicide.
Was he sober?
Completely, yep. He should be waking by now. He's been under sedatives. Let's go and have a look.
All right.
Dr. Gillespie.
I feel fine, just fine. Couldn't be feeling better.
You feel fine. Well, you may feel just fine, but you look just lousy.
I never look better either. You and Kildare are alarmists. That's what you are, Molly, alarmists. Nothing wrong with me at all. My color may be a little off. There's nothing wrong, though. I feel fine.
Hey, your color is a little off at that.
A man can't have any privacy in this hospital at all. We're going down to 303, Molly.
Oh, Mrs. Warren Jackson just phoned. She's on her way over to the hospital. You told her to come at 10 o'clock.
All right. If she gets back before we do, ask her to wait.
Yes, Dr. Gillespie.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Bird. Come on, Jimmy. Confound it. I do not have a cold. A man can sneeze, can't he?
Who are you talking to?
Talking to you.
I didn't say a word.
Well, maybe not orally, but I could feel what you were thinking.
Guilty conscience.
Now, get this through your head. If you got a head. I am not sick. And no matter what you and Molly Bird do to me, you're not going to make me sick. Any more than you do already.
Why, Dr. Lennon Gillespie.
Oh, fiddly. This is my colleague, Dr. Kildare.
How do you do, Doctor? Very happy to meet you, Mr. Jackson.
And how do you feel?
Oh, too bad I bungled the job.
Ah, well, naturally, I can't agree with you there. Your wife is on her way over. We had quite a job getting her to go home last night, and she only went when we persuaded her that you were out of danger.
I don't want to see her.
What?
I don't want to see her, I said.
Well, then, of course, you don't have to see her, Mr. Jackson. Dr. Gillespie, shall I ask the nurse to bring a sphygmomanometer?
If you would, please.
That's a frightening name for anything to have.
Well, we just want to test your blood pressure.
It'll be right here, Dr. Gillespie. Oh, while you take care of Mr. Jackson, perhaps I should speak to your 10 o'clock appointment.
Oh, I'd appreciate it very much, Kildare.
I'll take care of it right away.
You mean to say that my husband refuses to see me?
He's very ill. He's not himself. Don't let yourself be hurt by this.
But why? Why?
Mrs. Jackson, have you any idea why your husband would wish to end his life?
No, I haven't.
Has he been ill?
No, not since our marriage.
Before your marriage?
Not that I know of. Oh, he told me he's had trouble with asthma and hay fever, but he never spoke of anything serious.
I see. How about headaches? Has he complained of those?
Well, yes, he has had some headaches, but he's been working very long hours. He works much too hard. Well, why did you ask that?
Oh, Mrs. Jackson, I think your husband tried to end his life because of illness. I think it was that same illness that prompted him to refuse to see you this morning.
But if you're ill and you love someone, you normally want them by you.
But your husband isn't normal right now.
What's wrong with him?
I don't know yet. I have a theory, but it's going to take some study. What did Jackson's test show?
His blood pressure is very low, and his pulse is very weak. That's a sick boy, I know that.
Oh, did you notice those rough spots on his skin?
Yeah, he kept scratching them. He told me that during the past week he'd fainted several times at the office, that he had difficulty in breathing, and then he'd get waves of nausea.
Those could be symptoms of a lot of things.
The rough skin might indicate an allergy of some sort.
That was my thought, too.
I think we'll proceed with the allergy test. Can't do any harm. Allergy illnesses have been known to provoke suicidal tendencies in patients before. It's worth some investigation. I'm tired. Must be almost lunchtime.
Well, not for 2 hours. Now, you sit down in that chair. I'm going to take your temperature.
No, you're not going to do any such thing.
What's the matter? Afraid you'll have one?
Oh, I'm not afraid I'll have one. I know doggone well I haven't got a temperature. I've just got sniffles. It's the change in the weather.
Well, it won't take long to take your temperature.
Oh, go and take your thermometer and eat it.
Very well, if that's your attitude. Miss Bird.
Yes, Dr. Kildare.
You get Dr. Carew on the phone for me, please.
What are you going to do?
Just going to tell Dr. Carew that you don't look at all well and that you won't cooperate in the simple precautionary method of having your temperature.
Ah, you're a tattletale. That's what you are.
No.
I'll bet you were a nasty little boy.
Do I take the temperature, or does Dr. Carew?
Oh, go on ahead and take it if it'll make you feel any better.
Oh, may I, Doctor?
Help yourself, Molly.
Here you are, Dr. Gillespie. Close those pretty little pearls of yours on this.
Ah, splots.
What would you say about a famous diagnostician, Molly, who could diagnose everyone's ailments except his own?
I'd say he wasn't as much of a diagnostician as he makes himself out to be.
Oh, see here. I'm not going to put up with all this.
Keep the lips gently closed and the thermometer under the tongue.
Yeah.
That's better.
What do you think he's got, Dr. Kildare?
If he's got what I think he might have, he's not going to be fit to live with. We'd better see if we can get him in another hospital.
I've stood all I'm going to.
Lips closed, thermometer under the tongue.
Well, what do you think he's got? Something worse than a cold?
I'm not going to say until I see how he looks tomorrow, but I have a pretty good idea, and so does he. Simply won't admit it. Well, I think that thermometer should be just about cooked by now, so I'll take it out.
Yes. You two think you're very funny.
Well, young fellow, you are hereby and officially ordered to bed.
Let me see that thermometer. Well, I'll be hanged.
Comes as a surprise, doesn't it?
What do you know? Well, I did think I was feeling mighty groggy. You sure you didn't have that thermometer under the hot water tap?
You saw me shake it down. Molly, get a room for Dr. Gillespie. Isolation room.
What? Isolation room?
You know why, don't you, Dr. Gillespie?
I don't have that. I couldn't possibly have that.
Why not?
I'm too old, for one reason.
You know your medical history well enough to know that men of 99 have come down with it.
Say, would it be asking too much to ask what you two are talking about?
Yeah, it certainly would. Besides, I don't have any outward signs to indicate...
Ever had them?
Oh, I must have.
But you don't really know.
No, I don't really know.
Well, then we'll know better tomorrow. That's what you do have. You know yourself. We can't take any chances.
Splots. Double splots.
Well, Mr. Jackson, Dr. Gillespie is ill, and if you don't mind, I'm taking over your case.
Oh, I don't mind. It's about time I was getting out of here, isn't it?
Have you ever had any allergy tests?
Oh, I had a few tests when I was treated for hay fever.
I'd like to have you stay at the hospital a couple of days for a series of tests. May be able to find out what the root of your trouble is.
You don't have to put me through any tests to find that out, Dr. Kildare. The root of my trouble is the root of all evil, money.
I see.
You see, I've taken on quite a few extra responsibilities lately. New home, a new car. I went in a little too deep, I guess. Been working late, trying to pick up some extra commissions, but haven't had too much luck.
You're in love with your wife, aren't you?
Very much.
Well, then, how would you account for...
My trying suicides? Oh, I got pretty depressed the other night. I've been feeling so rotten, and, well, Ellen and I had a fight about money. I got to thinking that she'd be better off without me. My health seems to be completely shot.
Don't scratch your face like that. You'll only make the rash worse. I'm going to order a shot of adrenaline for you. That'll relieve your discomfort. Now, look here, Mr. Jackson. I think I can help you. I'm convinced that your state of mind, though, as well as your health, is caused by an allergic condition. Will you give me a chance to find out?
You mean, you really think you can fix me up?
I'm going to do my best.
Okay, Doc. Then I guess you've got yourself a patient.
Just as I thought.
For your information, my temperature is 103, and I feel terrible. I can't chew and I can't swallow. I sure got a beautiful case of them, though.
Never seen a better case in my life.
When I get anything, I get it good. I suppose they know all over the hospital about it now. Must look like a perfect fool.
Not at all. You just look as though you had a perfect case of the mumps.
Mumps? Blah. Isn't that shocking?
And I'll tell you something. They're not a bit unbecoming.
Kildare, come closer and let me breathe on you.
No, I've had the mumps.
You have? There's no justice in this world. There's no justice at all.
return to the story of Dr. Kildare in just a moment. Now we continue with the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Good evening, Dr. Gillespie. How are the three of you this evening?
Oh, you'll be sorry you asked that.
When did I become a plural?
I was referring to you and your two mumps.
They're thriving. The swelling is spread to the submaxillary and sublingual glands beneath the jaw.
Thank you, Doctor. Makes my work just that much easier.
It also keeps you from poking around my mumps.
Has he been a good patient today, Molly?
Has he been a good patient? Huh? Blair Hospital hasn't seen such a commotion since he got the German measles during the First World War.
I'm a sick man, a sick man.
Well, now it's time for his throat application. You'll see how he acts.
I don't want another hot strip of flannel around my throat. That's a lot of nonsense anyway.
You see?
Go get it, Molly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Dr. Kildare.
I'm not going to have it. I know as much about medicine as you do, and I tell you, it's a lot of nonsense.
It's your own prescription.
What?
I looked it up in your book. Every 20 to 30 minutes, put hot applications to the patient's throat, consisting of 5% guaiacol in glycerin to be rotated by 2% menthol in lanolin.
That's a pretty low trick, Kildare. A pretty low trick. Prying into a man's books when he isn't around to defend himself. Besides, I can't stand the smell of menthol.
Here's the application.
Put it on him.
Okay.
Yeah! I swear I'll never prescribe this treatment to another human being in the world. My stomach hurts.
It does? Molly, suppose we put hot applications on his tummy.
Oh, no, get out of here. Let me die in peace.
All right, then we'll dispense with the stomach treatment for the moment. But if you have any more trouble in that region, I've found several prescriptions of yours, old ones, that are real dilly.
You will pay for this, Kildare. You'll pay for this when I get out of this bed.
I know. That's why I got to get my licks in now. Seriously, though, I'm sure you know how important it is for you to keep warm and quiet. We can kid about it all we want, but mumps can turn out to be very dangerous, and no one knows that better than you.
Yes, teacher.
Well, I'm going down. See Mr. Jackson now.
Oh, how are his tests coming?
Well, so far, all I've been able to discover is what he's not allergic to. He's been injected with dust, mold, pollen, animal hair, feathers, various medical drugs. He's been put on several different kinds of diets, and all the results have been negative. He hasn't improved any since he's been here either. His eyes have become very puffy. Might be allergic to something in the hospital.
Yes. Possibly you.
Possibly. Except that he was having these attacks before he knew me. He's getting pyrobenzamine now. That's giving him some relief.
Has the man been given anything externally that might affect him? Have you checked his toilet preparations, toothpaste and soap, shaving lotion?
I'm doing that tonight. I'll be in to see you again first thing in the morning. Be sure he gets that next application in 15 minutes, Molly.
Yes, Dr. Kildare.
Gee, I wish you had the mumps and I was treating you.
I don't blame you, Doctor, but c'est la vie, c'est la vie. How do you feel this evening, Mr. Jackson?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think there's much good going to come of all this, Dr. Kildare.
Don't feel that way. These things take time. They're real riddles. You have to have patience. One man is allergic to wool. Another's allergic to a bit of pollen, to a spice or some other seasoning. He may be allergic to an animal or to a blossom of some sort. It's a long hunt to narrow the world down until you find one man's enemy, but once you've found it, you can help him. But you'll have to have patience, and so will I.
Okay. Where do we go from here?
What kind of shaving lotion do you use?
Normally, I use a special prescription. I got it from a doctor in Iowa. He said it'd be easier on my skin.
May I take a little of it? I'd like to have it analyzed.
Sure you can, but I haven't any of it here. You'll have to ask my wife to bring some over.
What have you been using here?
Well, the hospital brought some up. It's there on the dresser.
No. I think I'll take that along, too. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Jackson. Maybe I'll have something more encouraging to tell you then.
Yeah, say, Doc, if my wife brings the lotion over, I'd kind of like to see her. She's willing to see me.
Willing? All she's been waiting for is word that you want to see her.
I do want to see her. Very much.
All right. I'll have her bring over the lotion, and you can see her for a few minutes this evening.
Thanks, Dr. Kildare. I appreciate that very much.
Hello, laboratory. This is Dr. Kildare. I want tests made immediately on 2 types of shaving lotion I'm sending down to you. That's right. Let me know as soon as you can, will you? Thanks. Good morning, Dr. Gillespie. Glad to see that you're coming along so nicely.
Good morning yourself. Now why do you come in here to inflict on my poor, helpless body?
Would you prefer that I went away?
Oh, I certainly would.
All right, I'll go. Just wanted to tell you that I think I've isolated Jackson's allergy, but...
Oh, come here. Come back here. What is it?
I think he's allergic to orris root.
Orris root?
Yes. He had a prescription shaving lotion that didn't use orris. But the lotion he was using here at the hospital did contain it. As I told you, his condition has been worse since he's been in the hospital. I've given orders now that he's not to use anything containing orris root. So we'll watch and see what happens.
Well, I certainly hope you're on the right track. When do you intend to let me up, by the way? My temperature's down and the swelling's going down.
Well, I'll let you know. How's your pancreas?
Oh, mind your own pancreas.
Shall I conduct an examination, or do you care to tell me?
My pancreas is all right.
Scout on it?
Scout on it. Now leave me alone.
All right. Oh, yes. Here, brought you a nice iron tonic you can start taking today.
Iron tonic? I don't need an iron tonic.
By your own hand it is written. Quote, an iron tonic should be given patient during convalescence. Unquote.
All right. Leave it on the table. I'll take it. I'll take anything. Now go back to your orris root and give me a chance to convalesce, will you?
Well, Mr. Jackson, it's good to see you on your feet again.
Isn't it?
I don't mind telling you, I feel like the beginning of a new man.
I can't get over the fact that I was the cause of Warren's illness.
It wasn't you, Mrs. Jackson. It was the perfume you used. It contained a great quantity of orris.
Warren gave me the perfume as a wedding present.
I certainly didn't know what I was doing.
How long will you be treating him, Dr. Kildare?
Well, he'll have to come in quite regularly for shots for a while. We're giving him orris hypodermically now in very small doses, which will gradually increase until we build up an immunity, and he'll be able to lead a normal life.
Well, I certainly thank you, Dr. Kildare. You've made a great difference in the world as far as I'm concerned.
I'm glad to hear that.
Dr. Gillespie.
Hello, Dr. Gillespie.
This is my first day up, too. But I didn't want you to leave the hospital without my having a chance to see you and wish you well.
Thank you, Dr. Gillespie. You'll be seeing a lot of me. I have to come back for shots.
Here, now, sit down, Dr. Gillespie. Don't overdo things. Still under doctor's orders, you know. Careful. Remember, you're among patients.
Well, we'd better be going. Thank you both again.
Yes, thank you for saving my life, Dr. Gillespie. And thank you, Dr. Kildare, for making it worthwhile.
I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. So it was orris root. Yeah. You don't have to look so smug about it.
Strange, isn't it? How a little thing like an allergy can have such a depressing effect on a man that it can drive him to suicide.
Oh, I don't think it's so strange. Don't think it's strange at all. I'm getting more and more allergic to you every day.
Well, I think you should be back in bed. Been up just about long enough for your first day.
You know, you have all the makings of a first-class bully.
I shouldn't be a bit surprised. You see, I was taught by one of the greatest bullies in the world, Dr. Leonard Gillespie himself.
Ah, splash.
And double splash.
In just a moment, we will return to the story of Dr. Kildare. once again, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Come in. Oh, Dr. Gillespie. Come in. How do you feel? Oh, I feel fine. How do you feel? Oh, I feel all right. You sound a little hoarse to me. Oh, my slight sore throat. Nothing serious. Well, suppose we just take your temperature and find out. Now, look here. I've had the mumps. Well, son, I got some news for you. Unless I'm not the diagnostician I think I am, you are about to have the mumps again. It's impossible. I looked up your record. You had them when you were 10 years old, and it is recorded in your very own handwriting that you only had them on one side. Oh, no. Oh, yes. So open the mouth. Yes. We'll put the thermometer under the tongue. Oh, there's no justice. Absolutely no thermometer justice. Under the tongue. That's right.
What are you laughing at?
An old adage, Doctor. An old adage. He laughs best who laughs last. Dr. Kildare, you are hereby and officially ordered to bed.
You have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. This program was written by Gene Holloway and directed by William P. Russo. Original music was composed and conducted by Walter Schumann. Dick Joy speaking.
Our next broadcast is a radio mystery drama which ran from May 16th, 1942 until September 27th, 1955 on CBS Radio Network. The show was also broadcast in Chicago and over Armed Forces Radio. On the West Coast, it was sponsored by the Signal Oil Company. That whistle is your signal for the Signal Oil program. The program was also adapted into a film noir series by Columbia Pictures in 1944. Each episode began with the sound of footsteps and a person whistling. The haunting signature theme tune was composed by Wilbert Hatch and featured Dorothy Roberts whistling with an orchestra. We present to you The Whistler on HOJO Radio.
Wait a minute. Have you heard the strange tales of the Whistler?
I'm the Whistler.
I don't know what it is. It's a figure. I can't tell whether it's a man or a woman. It comes through the door and walks with outstretched arms toward my bed, reaching for me.
Sunday night, and again CBS presents The Whistler.
I, the Whistler, know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales, many secrets hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak. And so I tell you the weird tale of jealousy. At the edge of the cliff overlooking the sea sits a gray stone mansion, weather-beaten by the storms of several decades. To this mansion, Gilbert Durant brought his bride, Lucia. That was 4 years ago. Gilbert and Lucia were quite happy until last year, when Lucia's half-sister, Beverly, came to live with them. And gradually, something began to happen. At first, Lucia realized that Gilbert's ardor was beginning to cool. He became more absorbed in his writing. Then she felt the cold clamminess of the stone structure almost creep about her and clutch her. Fear grew in her mind, a fear that nearly took her breath. It is evening now, and Lucia, having excused herself at dinner, tosses on her bed in a fretful sleep.
No. Don't. Get away from me. Ah! No. What's wrong? Benson, come in.
What's wrong? Why were you screaming?
Benson, I must have been dreaming.
Well, you're white as a ghost. You're shaking like a leaf.
Yes, I know. Oh, Mrs. Benson, I can't stand it. It's driving me mad. It makes the fourth or fifth time I've dreamed the same thing. The same thing in every detail.
I've never heard you scream before.
It always comes a little closer to me. Tonight, it almost reached me.
It? What do you mean?
I don't know what it is. It's a figure. A human figure. But I can't tell whether it's a man or a woman. It comes through that door and walks slowly across the room with its arms outstretched, reaching for me.
Are you sure you were dreaming?
Oh, now that I think of it, it isn't like a dream. An ordinary dream. Its reality seems to carry over even after I'm awake.
Oh, that's what's made you so ill.
This dream, if it is a dream, means something? Is that what you think? It's a premonition?
Perhaps.
What time is it?
9 o'clock.
Where's Gilbert?
Your husband went horseback riding over an hour ago. Your sister went with him.
Beverly? Why didn't he ask me to go?
Well, you know you haven't been feeling very well lately.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
Well, if you're feeling better, I'll go back to my room.
Oh, yes, I'll be all right. Good night.
Good night, ma'am.
Beverly. Gilbert and Beverly.
Lucia lies for a while, staring wild-eyed at the patch of moonlight on the bedroom door. And finally she drops off to sleep. Then as the clock strikes 10:30, the door opens slowly, silently. A figure steps into the room and moves noiselessly through the moonlight to Lucia's bed and stands staring at her. Suddenly Lucia opens her eyes.
Gilbert, don't.
Lucia, what's wrong with you?
What are you doing in my room?
Why, I just wanted to know how you felt.
How long have you been standing there?
Oh, just a few seconds.
Oh, I was dreaming, I guess. And when I woke up, you startled me.
Why were you yelling, don't?
I don't know. I haven't the slightest idea.
I talked to Dr. Hanby about you today. Told him you were run down, and he suggested I get a tonic for you. I'll drop in at the drugstore on my way home tomorrow evening.
A tonic?
Yes.
What is it?
Oh, I don't remember. Something in strychnine.
Strychnine?
Yes, he said it would give you an appetite.
Where have you been, Gil?
Oh, I've been riding. Nice moonlight night. Very pleasant.
Did Beverly enjoy it?
Yes, she's an excellent rider. I've decided to buy that fillet in Thompson. Going over there tomorrow afternoon.
Is Beverly going with you?
Yes, she's a good judge of horse flesh. Why?
Nothing. I just asked.
Well, good night, Lucia. See you at breakfast?
Yes. Good night.
Lucia waits till she hears her husband turn out his light, then slips quickly to her door and quietly down the stairs to the library. With every beat of her pulse, she hears Gil's words.
Something in strychnine. Something in strychnine.
She snaps on the light and steps to the shelf holding the encyclopedia. She runs her fingers down the long line of books, LMNO, P to R. And then she stops and stares in terror. The S to T is missing. Lucia glances wildly about the room, and then she sees it. There on the desk, the missing volume, and open. She rushes to the desk and stares down at the open page.
Good Lord! It's true! It's true!
I'll tell you what, Beverly, I'll leave the deal entirely up to you.
Up to me? Oh, Gil, that's not fair.
Why not?
Well, suppose she turns out to be a lemon.
I don't think she will, because you're going to have the job of training her.
Oh, you certainly flatter me.
Not in the least. Oh. Good morning, Lucia.
I just realized what time it was. You'll be leaving in a few minutes.
Yes, it's 9 this very minute. I better step on it. More coffee, Beverly?
No, thanks. How do you feel, Lucia?
Why, better. Much better.
You better eat something.
No, I can't.
At least some coffee.
Yes, I'll have some coffee.
I've got to run. See you later, Lucia.
Yes, Gil?
And I'll see you this afternoon at 2, Beverly.
Yes, I'll meet you in town at 2. Oh, Gil, don't forget Lucia's medicine.
I won't. Goodbye, Lucia.
Are you meeting Gil in town, Beverly? Yes, he wants me to decide on that filly he's interested in. Where did you learn so much about horses? Well, it seems to be natural. Why don't you get interested in horses, Lucia?
Why should I?
What are you interested in?
Well, I'm interested in a few things. My husband in particular.
You don't act interested in anything.
Really?
If you'll take my advice, you'll snap out of this coma and get some pep.
If you like women with pep?
Well, no man cares about a woman who sits around and mopes. I think you're a hypochondriac.
Do you?
You should do something about it.
I intend to. I intend to do something about it.
I'm glad to hear it. Get out and do things. Play games, golf, tennis, swim, and ride. Maybe this medicine will fix you up.
You know all about it, do you? What is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's a tonic, a builder-upper.
I wish I could believe that.
At least you can try it. It won't hurt you.
No? I wonder. Oh, come in, Doctor.
Lucia, why'd you call me out here? What's wrong?
I just couldn't make it into town.
Oh, it can't be as bad as that.
Did Gilbert talk to you about me yesterday?
Oh, I saw Gil for a few moments at the club during lunch. Said you were run down.
Did you give him a prescription for me?
I never do that until I've examined the patient.
You didn't give him a prescription.
Well, no.
What did you suggest for me?
Oh, I don't know. Just mentioned a few tonics he might get for you. Spoke of beef iron and wine, and sherry and egg, and I don't remember what else.
Then you mentioned nothing specifically.
Don't think so.
I see.
What seems to be wrong with you, Lucia?
I don't know exactly. Something has been happening to me that... Well, frankly, I'm afraid I'm losing my mind.
Oh, come now. We all feel that way at times.
I'm serious. Things happen to me in the night.
What sort of things?
First, I thought they were just nightmares. But when you have a nightmare, you wake up and the fear is gone. You realize the truth. This vision that comes to me haunts me through the waking hours as well.
Vision?
Something, I think it's a person, comes through my bedroom door. Approaches my bed with outstretched arms as though it intends to strangle me. Each time it comes a little closer. My fear is that eventually it will get to me before I wake up.
You always dream the same dream?
If it is a dream, yes.
Who is the person?
I don't know.
And you don't think it's really a dream?
No. I think it's a premonition.
Well, have you any basis for such a fear in real life? Is there someone or something that you're afraid of?
Doctor, I'm convinced that they're not dreams. And I'm not asleep.
Oh, nonsense.
I'm positive they're not mere dreams.
Well, I think it's all due to your rundown condition. You probably don't sleep as soundly as you should, and so you transfer sounds in the night to dreams, nightmares.
That's exactly what I mean. If I'm only half asleep, I may be transferring actual movements and sounds into dreams. In other words, if someone slams the door in the night, I may half hear it and attribute it to a dream.
Yeah, go on.
And perhaps I'm not dreaming.
I think you'd better come into town and have a thorough physical.
You mean a checkup by a psychiatrist?
Well, I may have someone to help me. It's the usual thing, you know.
Oh. Oh, Dr. Henry. I'm so frightened.
Now, everything's going to be all right.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I'm going to die. That someone is trying to kill me.
You're not going to die. That's ridiculous.
I'll call you and make an appointment.
Very well. In the meantime, try not to think about it. Keep your mind on something on the brighter side.
Yes, I'll try.
Yes, try, Lucia. Try hard to keep your mind on something brighter. But you can't, can you? That awful gnawing of jealousy and fear occupy every moment. Gil and Beverly, Gil and Beverly. How could they do such a thing? Then, as the afternoon fades and dusk sets in, there is a knock at Lucia's door.
Are you asleep, Lucia?
No, not asleep.
How are you feeling?
Seem to have developed a headache.
Have you eaten anything today?
No, I didn't care for anything.
Well, this will help him. Better take a dose now. I'll measure it for you.
What is it?
Why, it's the tonic.
Did Dr. Hanby prescribe it?
Well, yes. Yes, he did.
Where's Beverly?
Down in the library.
Did you buy the horse?
Yes, Beverly thought she was a fine animal.
I didn't know Beverly knew so much about horses.
She's a horsewoman after my own heart.
Is she?
Rides like the wind, too.
She had intended to go home tomorrow. She's staying on?
She's got to. I wouldn't think of her leaving now.
Why not?
Well, for one thing, she's going to train the horse.
And what else?
Why, nothing else. Here, take this. A little bitter, but you'll get used to it.
Gil!
Go ahead. It won't hurt you.
I don't want it.
And why not?
It has poison in it.
Well, I suppose it does have a little, yes, but only enough to act as a tonic.
I don't want it. I won't take it. I won't.
Are you going to act like a child? Take it and quit arguing.
I won't. I won't.
This is ridiculous. I tried to do anything for you, and you act like a spoiled kid.
I can't take it.
You're impossible, Lucia.
I'm afraid.
You need this medicine, but you're too confoundedly stubborn. You'd rather sit around and mope all day. Very well, there it is. You can take it or not. Disgusted trying to help you pull out of this. Good night.
No, wait, Gil, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I don't care whether you do or not.
There, I've taken it. Terribly bitter.
And take another dose around 11.
Gil, where's Mrs. Benson?
Why, I told her she could have the night off. Thought she might like to spend the evening in town.
You let her off?
Yes, she's been sticking pretty close lately.
Oh, yes. Yes, she has. Good night.
Good night, Lucia.
What's wrong, Gil? You look upset.
I am. Lucia didn't want to take it.
No? Why not?
She's afraid of medicine.
What are you going to do?
She finally took a dose of it. If I know her at all, she'll never take another drop.
Well, she's got to take it, Gil. Got to figure out a way to make her take it.
It can't be disguised. It's too bitter.
Try something else.
I'll try and coax her into it again.
Isn't there something that tastes more pleasant, or something that you could put in milk or orange juice?
I don't know. Well, I'll find something.
Of course you will. You've got to.
I think Mrs. Benson is the cause of her dislike for medicine. She's keeping her upset. I'm going to let Mrs. Benson go for 2 or 3 days. And maybe something can be accomplished. I'll speak to her now. Well, Benson, what are you doing standing here in the dark?
I was just going upstairs to see if Mr. Durant wanted anything before I went out.
I see. Oh, by the way, I'm staying home for a couple of days, and I thought that since you've been staying so close to the job, you'd welcome a few days' leave.
Leave? Why, yes, but Mrs. Durant may prefer that I stay.
I think you'd better get a little rest yourself. You needn't come back till Friday.
But I don't need a rest.
You come back Friday.
Yes, very well, sir. I'll run up and see her before I go.
Come in. Oh, Benson. I thought you were going into town for the evening.
I'm leaving in a few minutes, but I had to see you.
I'm glad you came up. I've got to talk to someone. I know now they're not dreams. They are premonitions. And I know who's trying to kill me.
Who?
My husband and Beverly.
I know.
You know?
I just heard them talking low in the library. They were talking about the medicine. He said you were too stubborn and probably wouldn't take another dose. And she said he'd have to find some way to make you take it.
Then it is poison. They want me out of the way. I got angry because I refused to take it.
Oh, yes, and there's something else. He just told me that he would not be going into town for several days and told me not to come back here till Friday.
Good Lord.
I'll go on into town as planned, but I'll slip back toward midnight and come up the back way.
And I won't take a thing that gets me.
I'll be back at midnight.
Thank you, Benson. Good night.
Good night, ma'am.
A few minutes before 12, Mrs. Benson returns to the mansion. No lights are burning, so she makes her way quietly through the back entrance, slips up the stairs, and taps lightly on Lucia's bedroom door.
Mrs. Durant. Mrs. Durant.
Then she turns the knob, opens the door, and snaps on the light.
Mrs. Durant, Are you here?
Then Benson steps quickly toward the bed. The bed is empty, but a horrible sight meets her eyes.
Oh, blood. Blood all over the bed. They've done it. They've murdered her. Give me the police department.
All right, Mrs. Benson. What happened this evening?
Well, earlier in the evening, Mr. Durant told me I could have the night off, since I'd been staying close to Mrs. Durant for some time.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, he said he decided to let me off until Friday. But I didn't want to go, and he insisted.
Is there anyone else in the house?
Yes, Mrs. Durant's half-sister, Beverly.
Did you leave the house?
Yes, but I went up and told Mrs. Durant I'd be back about midnight.
If you had till Friday, why did you come back at midnight?
Because we were both frightened.
Of what?
Well, Mrs. Durant had been having premonitions that someone was trying to kill her.
Who was trying to kill her?
She didn't know, but she was terribly frightened.
Is that all?
No. Her husband tried to get her to take some medicine he had brought home. She refused, and he got angry.
How do you know he was angry?
I heard him talking about it to Beverly. They were in the library. And he told Beverly that Lucia was very stubborn. And Beverly said that he'd have to think of some other way.
Did Mrs. Durant suspect her husband and Beverly of trying to do away with her?
Yes, she did. She was convinced that Mr. Durant and Beverly were in love and wanted her out of the way.
So you came back tonight because you anticipated that something was going to happen?
Yes. The house was dark, so I came up the back stairs, knocked on her door, and when I got no answer, I came in, turned on the lights, saw she was gone, and then I saw the bed all covered with blood. She wouldn't take the poison, so they did it another way. That's what they planned in the library.
Where are they now? Any idea?
Well, they didn't expect me back tonight, so they've probably gone to dispose of the body, intending to come back here and clean the place up later.
I see. Anybody else know about Mrs. Durant's fears?
Yes. She talked to Dr. Hanby. I called him right after phoning the police and told him about it. He knows.
Dr. Hanby, Captain Drake. What in the world is the meaning of this?
From all indications, Mrs. Durant has been murdered and the body disposed of. Doctor, I understand Mrs. Durant told you that she was afraid that something was going to happen to her, that she was going to die.
Who told you that?
Mrs. Benson here.
I see. Well, she did call me in this morning. She'd been having strange dreams. Premonitions, she called them. I called them hallucinations.
Who did she think it was?
Well, she couldn't tell whether it was a man or a woman, but someone was always approaching her bed with outstretched arms, trying to choke her.
Do you think it was more than a dream?
Well, she was a sort of hypochondriac. I asked her to come into town where I could give her a thorough examination. I didn't take her story too seriously, but well, this certainly puts a different slant on the entire picture.
Yes, we haven't found the body. I have men out searching now. We'll find it.
Well, here's Mr. Durant and his sister-in-law. They found him about a half mile down the beach.
How are you, Durant?
What in the world goes on here? Oh, what's wrong, Doctor?
Take a look at that bed.
Good Lord, what's happened? Lucia. Where is she?
We thought you could enlighten us on that point.
What do you mean? Is she dead? Where is she?
Gil.
Beverly.
Give her some water. She'll be all right in a minute.
But what's happened?
We think your wife has been murdered.
Murdered? What are you doing here, Mrs. Benson? I thought you were gone till Friday.
Why did you tell her to go until Friday?
Why, I thought she needed a rest. She's been having long hours. Where is Lucia?
Where have you and your sister-in-law been?
Why, I slept upstairs and saw Lucia was asleep, so we decided to take a little ride down the beach. It was still early.
Didn't take anything with you?
Certainly not.
What do you mean by that? What would we take?
I don't know. I just asked. Did you two try to get Lucia to take some medicine?
No.
Wait a minute, Beverly. That won't do any good. Yes, we did. She was run down and needed a tonic, but she refused to take medicine.
Why did she refuse?
I don't know.
Maybe she was afraid of being poisoned.
That's ridiculous. Why should I want to poison her? I loved Lucia.
How long has your sister-in-law Beverly been here with you?
Why, I don't know. It's quite some time.
Just a minute. Are you inferring that Gil and
I'm not inferring anything. I'm merely asking questions.
Well, whoever suggested such a thing is lying. Why, Gil and Lucia...
Just a moment, Beverly. Mrs. Benson, what have you been saying? What did you tell them?
I told them the truth.
Do you think I plan to kill Lucia? Is that it?
Yes, you and this woman.
Why, that's ridiculous.
You tried to get her to take some medicine. She knew you were in love with her sister, and you were trying to poison her.
When did she come to that conclusion?
She had premonition.
That means nothing.
And besides, I heard you talking, you and Beverly, planning the whole thing.
What?
She's out of her mind.
I heard you, I tell you. When you realized Lucia wouldn't take the medicine, Beverly said you'd have to think of some other way.
Some other way to what?
To get rid of her. What else?
This is the most amazing thing I ever heard of. Dr. Hanby, you know better than this. Do you think I had a reason back of wanting to know about various medicines?
No, I didn't. Not at the time, but now...
Now what?
Well, I'm sorry to say it all adds up to something suspicious. Seems more than just coincidental.
Do you think I killed Lucia?
Well, look about you. Look at the room. What else am I to think?
What was the tonic you tried to give your wife?
It had strychnine in it.
That right, Durant?
Why, yes. It was one of the things Dr. Hanby mentioned. It was iron, quinine, and strychnine.
Did you mention that, Doctor?
Well, I suppose I did. It's a commonly known tonic.
Did you add anything else to it, Durant?
Certainly not.
How about it, Sergeant? What's the report?
Why, the bottle contained iron, quinine, and strychnine, and a heavy content of arsenic.
Arsenic? But it isn't possible. I put nothing in it. Where would I get arsenic?
Well, it was in there just the same.
Good Lord, Doctor, it isn't true. You know it isn't.
I hate to say it, Gil, but the evidence looks bad for you.
Benson knows what all this is about. She's lying. She knows Gil wouldn't do such a thing. She's back of it all.
Why?
I don't know, but believe me, I'll find out if I have.
That'll do. Under the circumstances, I think you'd all better come down to headquarters so we can keep you separated. Come on. And no more talking.
48 hours pass. Hours of relentless grilling, endless questioning. Finally, Gil and Beverly are released on a writ of habeas corpus. Now weeks have gone by, and Lucia's body has not been discovered, and so the district attorney is forced to make a public announcement that in spite of the apparent evidence, no murder charges can be preferred against Gil and Beverly due to lack of corpus delicti, the failure to produce Lucia's body. Now Beverly and Gil are in the library.
Beverly, I want you to know how wonderful I think you've been, the way you've stuck right beside me through this thing. I know it's been a trial for you, and, well, you're one girl in a million.
Thanks, Gil, but it isn't over yet. They won't stop their search for Lucia's body, and if they find it, we haven't a chance.
I know, but what can we do about it?
Well, why couldn't we leave the country?
Together?
Not necessarily. They'd be sure to follow us. We could go separately in different ways
And meet someplace later on? Is that what you mean?
Yes, that's what I mean.
That seems a bit mad. That would equal an out-and-out confession.
But, Gil, if they find Lucia's body, we haven't a chance. It's too strong against us.
We never could come back, Beverly.
Oh, what of it? I don't want to die, Gil, and I don't want anything to happen to you.
Beverly, I don't know what to say.
I'm frightened, Gil. I can't stay here with such horrible fear hanging over me. I'll go mad. If you don't go, then I will. I'll leave tonight.
Please, Beverly, I need you more than ever now. Please don't go.
Don't worry, Gilbert. She won't leave you.
Lucia.
Good Lord.
I won't let her leave you. I'll see that you both go together. And stay together for a long, long time.
Lucia, what does this mean? We thought you were dead.
Disappointed, are you?
Where have you been?
What happened to you coming to that? You thought I was dead. Well, I'm not. I'm live enough to pull this trigger. I've been behind those drapes, and I heard every word you said. Now I know you're in love with each other. Now I know you wanted to do away with me.
In love? With Beverly?
From the day she came here. She took you away from me.
I did not.
We never thought of such a thing, never.
It never entered my mind.
Why do you lie about it? You do love her. Why don't you admit it?
I love Beverly?
Yes.
You certainly have a vicious mind, Lucia. For the first time I see you for what you really are. I never even thought of such a thing. But now that you mention it, I realize the truth. Yes, I do love Beverly.
Gil, don't.
Why shouldn't I? And it's Lucia's fault. She's the cause of it. A suspicious-minded devil. She let her imagination run away with her. She built this thing up, and now it's boomeranged on her. Oh, what a mess you've made of things, Lucia.
You mean you and Beverly, they didn't plan?
Certainly not. You must have been out of your mind.
Oh, Gil. Gil. I thought... I was sure. Oh, Gil. Gil.
I'm sorry, Lucia, but that's the way it is. And you've no one to blame but your own miserable self.
No one to blame but her own miserable, jealous, suspicious-minded self. Lucia planned the whole thing from the beginning. She thought they were in love, thought they were planning to kill her. Lucia never had a dream, never had a premonition. She planted that in the housekeeper's mind and in the doctor's. She put the rat poison in the tonic. She put the bedroom in disorder, cut herself of smeared blood on the bed, and then disappeared. But when she read that they couldn't bring a murder charge without the body, she came back to kill Gil and Beverly herself. You see, Lucia didn't know about that little article in the law called Corpus Delicti.
CBS has presented The Whistler. Original music for this production was composed and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. The Whistler is written by and directed by J. Donald Wilson and originates from Columbia Square in Hollywood. Next Sunday, 9:15...
I, the Whistler, will return to tell you the eerie tale of Back from Beyond. Good night.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Thanks for listening to HOJO Radio. We have more classic radio coming your way next.
Wait a minute. Have you heard the strange tales of the Whistler?
I'm the Whistler.
Nita, what is it? What's wrong with you?
I don't know. All of a sudden, I got a terrible feeling. A horrible feeling of foreboding. I'm frightened, Tom.
Another Sunday night, and again CBS presents The Whistler.
I, the Whistler, know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales, many secrets hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. And so I tell you tonight the unusual story of malice. Dr. Jacob Benton is the wealthiest citizen in a certain upstate county, as well as its most prominent physician and surgeon. Jacob Benton is a proud individual, proud of the fact that he comes from a long line of highly successful surgeons. And his greatest ambition is that his son, Tom, will follow in his footsteps and carry on the family tradition. Jacob has also a nephew, Harvey, son of Jacob's scapegoat brother, who married a girl from the wrong side of the town and finally disappeared, leaving Jacob to take care of his young son. After finishing high school, Tom and Harvey entered medical school. Harvey followed through and is to graduate next week. But Jacob's son, Tom, at the end of his third year, wandered over to the East Bottoms at the lower end of town and met a girl, lost interest in medicine, and refused to go back to school.
Tom.
Yes, Father?
Come into the library.
What do you want?
Where have you been? It's 2 a.m.
Why, I've been to a party.
Where?
A house party.
On the other side of town?
Yes. In the East Bottoms.
You've seen that girl, that Nita, again, haven't you?
Yes. What of it?
What of it? You're a disgrace to the name of Benton. I've told you time and again that you don't belong over there.
I like Nita because she's honest and genuine. She's not filled with a lot of silly ideas like Eloise.
Eloise is a fine girl. She belongs to an excellent family.
Oh, bosh. Eloise is a phony. Nita's a real fellow.
If you become serious about this girl, you'll be ostracized.
I know all about poor Uncle George. He went over to the East Bottoms and met a girl and went to the dogs. But it wasn't the girl. He was no good in the first place.
He was a stubborn fool, just like you.
I resent being told who and when and where.
Are you in love with this girl?
Yes.
I'm terribly disappointed in you, Tom. I'd prayed that you'd become a surgeon.
I don't like medicine.
You were wrapped up in your studies until you met this girl.
That's what you think.
I'm ashamed of you. Your cousin Harvey came from the lower end of town. I made him see the light. And then think of it. You about face and walk right into it. You quit school and he graduates next week.
All right, his name's Benton, too. Let him carry on. He likes medicine. It bores me.
This girl has made a fool of you. Oh, I could kill her.
I think I'd better go to bed. Good night.
Good night, young idiot. He's going to finish school if I have to...
What's all the racket about down here?
Oh, come in, Harvey.
I heard voices.
Yes, it was Tom. He's been to a party across town. Been out with that cheap girl again, that Nita.
Are you sure?
He admitted it. Says he's in love with her. Tossing his career to the winds over a woman like that.
How long has he been seeing her?
Several months, I suppose. That's why he wouldn't go back to school. All she's after is his money. How he ever met up with her, I'll never know.
I'm afraid I'm the cause of that, Uncle Jacob.
You? What do you mean?
Well, when I was home last summer, I went over there one evening, several evenings, in fact. Tom insisted on going along. I wanted to see some of the kids. I went to school with Nita, and, well, I introduced them.
Well, of all things, you were born over there, and if you insisted on going back, it was your own business. But Tom is my son. You knew how I felt about it. You had no right to take him over there.
I realize that now.
Well, something's got to be done about it at once.
Yes, but what?
I'll put an end to it. Believe me, I'll find a way, and I'll stop at nothing.
For the remainder of the night, Jacob sits in the library studying the problem of what to do about Tom. And upstairs, young Harvey paces to and fro, pondering over the same question. The next morning, Harvey goes to the lower end of town to visit Nita.
Hello, Nita.
Harvey. Well, I didn't know you were back in town.
You didn't? I came home last night. I'm going back in a few days for graduation exercises. Have you missed me, Nita?
Why, yes.
Why haven't you written me in the last month or so?
Well, I've been busy.
Been across town lately?
No, why should I?
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a strange thing about this section called the East Bottoms. It means more than just a place. It's a huge barrier, an insurmountable obstacle. I was born over here, same as you. But I got an idea that I could cross over, and in time I'd be accepted as one of them. But I finally realized that I would never be accepted. I'd only be tolerated. I'd never be able to practice medicine over there.
I think that's all imagination.
I told you I had definitely decided to come back here and settle down. That's why I asked you to marry me.
I'm not satisfied here.
Since when?
I've never been satisfied here.
You belong here, Nita. You'll never be able to cross over. You'll be miserable. I know.
Maybe.
And Tom would never last over here. He'd wash up, just as my father did.
What are you talking about?
I know what's happened. You're throwing me over for Tom.
What?
You're after Tom because you think he'll take you out of this. Set you up on the other side. Well, he won't. You'll have to come over here, and he won't have a dime. You're not really in love with Tom.
I am in love with him, and he loves me.
It won't last a minute.
I'll make it last.
Oh, don't be a fool, Nita. Tom's father thinks you're a good-for-nothing, and he'll never change.
I don't care. I love Tom.
And when it came to a showdown, Tom would walk out on
I'm
you.
going to marry him. I've made up my mind.
Then there's nothing more I can say. Goodbye, Nita.
Goodbye.
That evening, Dr. Jacob comes to a decision, and he too crosses town and makes his way to Nita's apartment.
Well, what do you want to talk about, Dr. Benton?
About my son, Tom.
I see.
How long have you known him?
Oh, since last summer.
Have you seen him often?
Yes, several times a week for the last 2 months.
You think you're in love with him?
I don't think. I know I am.
I don't think he's in love with you. He's merely infatuated. You're interested in his position, his money.
You can think whatever you like.
I'm familiar with your type.
My type? What's the matter with me?
Are you aware of what you're doing to my son?
I've done nothing at all.
You've caused him to drop his career. Tom has a tradition to fulfill. He comes from a fine family. And I won't have him throw it all to the wind because of a silly infatuation.
It isn't an infatuation.
He must marry someone in his own class. Someone who'll inspire him to carry on his career.
I didn't talk him out of his career. He says he doesn't like medicine.
The right girl wouldn't allow him to stray. She would encourage him to follow through.
The right girl. Family. Tradition. It's all a lot of bosh. Everybody in this town has made up his mind that the East Bottoms mean the difference between somebody and nobody. Well, I haven't. I'm made of the same stuff as you or Tom or anybody else over there. I have a right to a decent existence.
If it's money you want, I'll give you money to let him alone. I'll give you a lot more than you'll ever get from Tom if you marry him.
Money? You'd pay me to give him up?
Yes. Here. Here's a check for $5,000.
$5,000? Is that all your son is worth to you? $5,000? If he were my son, and I thought I could buy his future, I'd give every cent I had.
What? You mean you want more than that?
Dr. Benton, you don't possess enough money to buy me off. I don't want money.
Well, what goes on here?
Hello, Tom. You came just in time.
What are you doing here, Father?
What do you suppose?
What's he been saying, Nita?
He just gave me this check for $5,000.
For what?
To let you alone, so you can continue your career.
What?
He thinks I'm wrecking your life.
He is.
That settles it. We'll get married tonight.
You won't get married tonight, not in this state.
We'll fly over to the island. That's in another state. They don't have the 3-day law. Get your things, Nita.
If you marry this girl, I'll never give you another cent.
I'll get along. Come on, Nita.
Tom, I'll stop at nothing to break this up. I promise you will regret this moment so long as you live.
Let's go, Nita.
So Tom and Nita rush out of the house and drive to the airport just outside of town. A storm has come up. The highway glistens in the beam of the headlights.
This rain is certainly like a cloudburst.
Maybe we shouldn't fly over tonight, Tom.
Why not?
I don't like to fly in a storm. How can you tell where to land?
Don't worry about that. I'm familiar with the field.
Who's on the island at this time of year?
Well, not many people. We've had this summer place there as long as I can remember. There's an old fellow and his wife who look after most of the places. He's also a justice of the peace. He can marry us. We'll spend the night at our place, and then we'll go someplace else tomorrow.
Tom, are you sure you want to go through with this?
Certainly. Why do you ask?
Your father meant what he said. Is it worth it? To give up everything?
You're worth a dozen family fortunes.
But now that I think about it, well, he sort of frightened me.
He didn't frighten me.
Well, the way he said it made children up my spine.
Said what?
You'll regret this moment so long as you live.
Oh, he was just bluffing.
But somehow I don't think he was.
He can cut me off, but we'll get along.
Tom, why don't you finish your studies?
I told you, darling. I don't like medicine, and I never will. Why should I do something I dislike just because my father and my great-great-grandfathers liked it?
Well, what do you want to do?
Oh, I don't know. But I'll find something.
Tom?
Yes? What is it? Nita. What is it? What's wrong with you?
Well, I don't know. All of a sudden, I got a terrible feeling. A feeling of foreboding.
Snap out of it, Nita. This isn't like you.
I know, but I can't help it. I'm frightened.
Of what?
I don't know, but I am. Oh, Tom, let's turn back. Let's wait, please.
Oh, no, you can't back out now. We're going through with this.
But he isn't. Your father meant what he said. I know he did. Please turn back.
I wouldn't turn back for all the money in the world.
Oh, Tom, I can't see a thing. No lights, nothing.
Now, don't worry. I don't need lights to land.
We should have come in a boat.
No, it's too choppy for a boat. This is the only way in weather like this.
Tom, there, I see a light. Just went on.
Yeah? Old Jenkins probably heard it.
The light is swinging.
Yeah, that's it. That's the field. It's a tiny one, but I can make it.
There's a light.
Yeah. We're all right now. Hang on. I'm going to set her down.
Tom, look out those trees! Pull up!
Are they dead, Pa?
I don't know yet. Good thing it didn't catch fire.
Oh, who are they?
No. I'll hold the lantern down here.
It's a woman.
Don't recognize it. Hey, this is young Tom Benton.
Oh, the girl is hurt bad. Look at her legs. They must be broken.
Yeah. Come along. We'll get him over to the house. Phone Doc Benton. Hello? This Dr. Benton's home? This is Jenkins over on the island. Is Dr. Benton there? Oh, is that you, Harvey? Well, you better find Doc and get him over here right away. It's young Tom. He tried to land his plane and hit some trees. I don't think Tom is hurt so bad, but the girl has smashed up something terrible. I don't know who she is. Yeah. Goodbye. Well, it didn't take you long to get here, Harvey. We've got him over at our place.
How in the world did Tom hit those trees? I had no trouble seeing the field.
The lights weren't on when Tom came in. Didn't even hear his motor until it was too late. He should have phoned me. He was coming. Hey, where's Doc Benton?
He was out on the case. He left his patient's house, so I left a message telling him I was going ahead and to come as quickly as possible. I brought some medical supplies.
Here we are. Tom's over there on the couch. They put the girl in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Few cuts on him. Don't think he has any broken bones. Oh, nasty bump on the head. Maybe a slight concussion. Well, I better have a look at the girl.
Looks to me like both her legs are broken.
Nita. Poor kid.
You know who she is?
Yes, I know who she is.
Was I right about her legs?
Yes. Both rather badly smashed up.
Where were they going on a night like this?
I imagine they came over here to get you to marry them.
Marry him? Well, I'll be darned. Wonder why he didn't phone me first.
They were in too much of a hurry, I suppose.
Too bad.
She's in a very critical condition. Extreme shock. Better get some hot water and plenty of blankets.
Right away.
Get the house as warm as possible and put more blankets on Tom.
I'll be right back. Martha?
Yes? How is she?
Harvey says she's in bad shape. Gather up all the bedclothes and coats you can. Got to cover 'em up good. Put on plenty of water to heat. I'll build up the fire.
Outside, the storm rages on. Harvey sits quietly beside Nita's bed, staring at her in a daze. Her breathing becomes shallow, irregular. A quarter of an hour passes. Then a plane motor is heard overhead. The ship sets down, and Dr. Jacob hurries to the house.
Tom's over there, Doc.
Tom.
He's been unconscious ever since we brought him in.
Can't find any fractures.
He's got an awful wallop on his head.
Yes. I see. No apparent concussion. He'll be all right in a short while. Get some pillows. Raise his feet. I want his head lower.
I'll get them.
You certainly got it hot in here.
Yeah. Harvey had us do that because of the girl. She's pretty bad.
Girl? Where is the girl?
Oh, in the bedroom there. Harvey's in there.
I'll have a look at her. Harvey. Huh? Oh. Hello. What's the matter with you?
I just...
Are you crying?
No, I'm just... This is a miserable mess.
Fine example of a doctor you are. You have to learn to be completely impersonal about these things.
Oh, I know.
What do you say is wrong with her?
Both legs are broken. She's suffering from extreme shock.
Uh-huh. Better take your bag, go out there, and give Tom a shot of adrenaline. I'll attend to the girl.
Yes, sir.
Harvey gives Tom the adrenaline and proceeds to attend to the cuts and bruises. Then he moves to the fireplace and sits staring into the blaze. The storm rages on, and the minutes drag slowly along. 10, 20, 30. Then Dr. Jacob steps out of the bedroom.
Harvey.
Yes, sir?
Has Tom come out of it yet?
Not yet. But he shows improvement. He'll be all right in a little while.
I see. Jenkins.
Yes, Doc?
Get us something to make a pallet. You'll carry him down to the plane and take him over to the hospital.
Sure, right away. I'll get 4 poles and some rope. I'll have 2 made in a jiffy.
Never mind 2, just 1. The girl is dead.
Then on the following day, Tom has fully recovered. Gradually, the events of the preceding hours begin to pass before him. The argument, the island, the plane, Nita screaming, and then the crash. And then Nita. Where is Nita? Tom sends for his father. But Jacob is already standing in the shadows of the room.
How do you feel, Tom?
Nita. Is Nita all right?
Oh, now, take it easy, Tom. Don't get excited.
Where is Nita?
Forget about Nita for the moment. You've been pretty badly banged up. A little more, and you'd have had a real concussion.
What about Nita?
If you insisted on flying to the island, why didn't you phone Jenkins to turn on the light?
He heard my motor. We were in a hurry. Besides, I saw the lights.
Jenkins said he didn't turn them on at all. Didn't hear you till just before you crashed.
That's ridiculous. Where have you got Nita?
Nita is at the undertaker's.
What?
She's dead.
Good Lord. Was she... Did it happen in the crash?
No, she died about half an hour after I got there.
Were you on the island?
Yes, Jenkins found you and called the house. I was out on a case and got to the island too late to save her.
What was the cause?
Her legs were broken. She died from extreme shock.
Was there nothing you could do?
Nothing.
Did you try?
I resent that inference. You should know better than that.
I'd rather have had anybody in the world there than you.
Do you know what you're talking about?
Yes, I do. You hated her. You didn't give her half a chance.
Will you shut up and stop yelling?
What did you give her?
I gave her adrenaline.
It was probably water.
I've heard enough out of you. When you come to your senses, I'll consider talking to you. Good day.
Now Tom, his mind filled with suspicion, his heart burning with hatred, throws on his clothes, dashes out of the hospital, and goes to the island. He reviews the whole situation with Jenkins. Each incident from the time he first heard the plane motor to the moment they took him to the hospital. Tom returns to town, arranges for an autopsy, and is now talking to the autopsy surgeon.
Well, Dr. Grolberg, how about it? What's your report?
Well, both legs were fractured, but there was no compound fracture. There were several minor lacerations about the body and a head contusion.
Nothing there that would have caused death?
No, nothing.
What else did you find? Any evidence of poison?
No, none.
She was suffering from shock?
Oh, naturally, but not extreme shock.
Then she didn't die from shock?
Death from shock would have been prevented by the adrenaline administered.
Then you found adrenaline present?
Yes. That is what I can't understand.
What do you mean?
Well, one of the most difficult things to diagnose is the difference between extreme shock and internal hemorrhage.
There was internal hemorrhage?
Certainly. And this one was one of the easiest to diagnose I've ever seen. As you well know, adrenaline in internal hemorrhage is absolutely contraindicated.
In other words, you think her death was caused by the administration of adrenaline?
I do, definitely. But those things happen sometimes, regardless of how hard we try.
Yes. Well, thanks, Doctor. I'll see you later. Hello, Father.
Well, have you finally come to your senses?
Yes. Yes, I have. I'd like to have a little talk with you.
Very well. What about?
I've been doing a little investigating.
Investigating? Now, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Nita.
Are you going to start on that again?
I am. And I'm going to follow it to a conclusion.
I don't want to have anything more to do with it.
But I do.
I've had a hard day, and I don't care to listen to any more of your idiotic babblings.
How would you like to have the grand old name of Benton? The untarnished reputation of your long line of surgeons blasted to 1,000 pieces.
What are you talking about?
How would you like to have it known that you, the eminent Dr. Benton, the trusted, the revered Dr. Jacob Benton, deliberately and with malice aforethought caused the death of a girl? How would you like that?
You're insane, positively mad.
Oh, no, I'm not. I've gone back over the whole thing. I know you hated Nita. You said I'd regret the day so long as I lived. You threatened to do something, and you did. At your first opportunity.
You are crazy.
You did everything to separate us. You tried to buy her off. When that didn't work, you killed her.
Get out of here. Leave this house.
You didn't just let her die. You killed her, murdered her.
Get out.
I know what I'm talking about. I had an autopsy performed.
You what?
An autopsy.
Go on.
She didn't die of shock.
What then?
She died of a very obvious internal hemorrhage, aggravated by adrenaline, which is contraindicated. You're a specialist in that line. You couldn't have made that mistake in 1,000 years.
But I was positive it was shock.
You knew what it was.
No, I must have been wrought up. I could have made that one wrong diagnosis that happens once in 1,000 times.
Oh, no, I saw the body. I could tell. With as little medical experience as I've had.
Tom, you mustn't say anything further about this.
Why not?
It would ruin my reputation.
Oh, now you're worried about your reputation. What's that compared to the girl I love?
Oh, but Tom, listen to me, please.
Good night.
Wait a minute. Wait, Tom.
Well, what do you want, Harvey?
I heard you. I heard every word.
So what?
I can't let it go on like this. I can't let you do this to your father.
What's it to you? You keep out of it.
No, Tom, now listen. You're wrong.
I know what I'm talking about. Nita was murdered, and I can prove it.
Your father had nothing to do with it.
Harvey, that's enough. Leave us alone.
I won't. I can't stand by quietly and see this happen to you. I won't.
Leave this room, Harvey. Don't say another word.
Now, wait a minute. What are you trying to say, Harvey?
I did it. Your father's trying to cover up for me.
What do you mean?
He wants to save my future reputation. If it got out, it would be a blot against me.
What would be?
When Jenkins called, your father was out. He told me what had happened. I left a note for your father, took an emergency bag, and flew to the island in hopes I could do something.
Go on.
I thought Nita was suffering from shock. I was terribly upset because I was in love with her. So I gave her adrenaline. I wasn't experienced enough to recognize symptoms of hemorrhage.
Is that the truth?
Yes, now that he's told it, there's nothing I can do. I knew in an instant it was hemorrhage. When I saw the adrenaline vial, I knew what a terrible mistake he'd made. He was emotionally upset over the girl, and I wanted to give him a chance. It was done. I tried my best to pull her through, but it was too late.
I'm sorry, Tom. Terribly sorry.
Harvey guiltily leaves the library and goes up the stairs to his room. Tom stands staring at Jacob, then drops into a chair and begins to sob softly. A few minutes pass, then a shot. Tom and his father leap to their feet, rush up the stairs and into Harvey's room. Harvey is sprawled dead over the desk, a gun in his hand, and on the desk a note addressed to Tom. Read it, Tom.
Dear Tom, I can't stand it any longer. It's been driving me crazy from the moment I did it. Nita's face is before me every second of the day and night. I was in love with her. But when she ran away with you, I lost my reason. I imagined she'd be better off dead. I was filled with hatred. I knew she was suffering from hemorrhage, but I gave her the adrenaline in a bit of revenge. Now it's driving me mad. Forgive me. Harvey.
Well, that's the end. Another case of jealousy. Another example of the futility of allowing oneself to become a victim of the green-eyed monster, jealousy.
CBS has presented The Whistler. Original music for this production was composed and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. The Whistler is written and directed by J. Donald Wilson and originates from Columbia Square in Hollywood. Next Sunday, 9:15.
I, the Whistler, will return to tell you another unusual tale. Good night.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Thank you for listening to HOJO Radio. We'll be back again very soon.